No, it's
I
funny,
would.
guys. I keep forgetting that I started this.
I just,
Jesse, Ron, and Sierra on the line. I mean,
I think we have the party line going on. I just felt like I was in the room with us.
Hello?
Hello, caller. Who's on the line?
Yes, this is Michael. Can you hear me?
Oh, Michael, cool. Okay, so is it a name that other people would see and would think is Michelle? That's Michael?
It's French spelled, but it's quite interesting. I'm Canadian, and my mother was from Trinidad. Chinese family raised in Trinidad, so I'm mixed, but with a French name. So you could just call me Michael.
Michael, okay.
nice to meet you, Michael. Thanks for calling the show.
Welcome to the show.
Nice to meet you guys.
Hey.
Happy to be here.
He connects with you, I think, on the birthmark issue.
Oh?
Yes. I find it's quite shocking, actually. I've had a birthmark my whole life on my left arm, and when I awakened to what has happened here in October of 2016, it was gone. And it's quite strange, quite weird.
Just gone.
I guess with the Mandela effect.
Yeah, sure. It didn't switch to the other side, your right arm. It's just gone.
No, it's completely gone.
I've heard that.
Didn't switch anywhere.
From a lot of people, yeah.
It's just, yeah, that's what I felt like happened to me. But I swear, I'm staring at this thing right now. Like I don't know where this thing came from.
You know, that one's kind of fun and freaky because it's actually birth mark. You know, it's almost like your birth is being erased in a way, like just on a weird symbolic level. Have you run it by, like, you know, have you brought it up to your doctor or like your, you know, in your family? Have people confirmed it?
I brought it up to family members. I brought it to my father. I brought it up to friends and cousins, and they're just quite shocked about it as well. Like,
yeah, because birthmarks are not supposed to leave; they're supposed to always be there, right?
A rash.
They're always supposed to be there. Well, it's quite weird with this whole ordeal I've been going through with this effect, and Mandela effect, has sort of awakened in October of 2016, and it just goes along with everything that I'm experiencing.
So it's just over a year for you, Michael.
Yeah, it's been over a year, and hold on a second. I'm live right now.
I'm not going anywhere.
Sorry, that was just my daughter talking to me.
No,
she doesn't know that I'm live right now.
Neither does the dog, apparently.
You're like, you're not on the internet, are you?
Pardon me?
Yeah. I was just doing a sketch in my head about family members who don't understand the Mandela effect, but it could be different.
Well, my youngest daughter, she's experiencing the same thing as myself, but my wife and my younger daughter, I have two daughters, she doesn't experience it. She's sort of going along with, you know, Sex and the City and this kind of timeline. But
no. Really?
My older daughter, yeah. For me,
hey.
Yeah, so for me and my older daughter, we're experiencing this new realm or this new world or this Mandela effect, and my eyes are wide open, but I'm fully awakened to it. You know, I've been following you guys. You guys have been a great help getting through this. But like my whole life, I've been like a sensitive, and I went through a huge life experience where I was in the hospital, and I actually left my body, and I was watching myself over my wheelchair when they rushed me to the ER, and I seen the nurse and the doctors work on me, and I felt no pain, and I felt nothing, and it was very blissful. Then I woke up in my body with all the pain back and everything, and not realizing I sort of, in October, I awoke to this new world, you know.
That's something that a lot of people have talked about. They've talked about possibly having a death experience and then noticing changes. So is noticing a Mandela effect, or is death a catalyst?
We all have, well, that's the thing. And, you know, you talk to a lot of people, not everybody, not across the board, but a lot of people had a death, you know, near death experience. I know I did. And I know a friend of mine who, when you tell that story, man, and I think that happens to us for a reason, man, because people like yourself come back to tell that story, man, so people know what's on the other side, you know, that, I don't know what you felt, but I'll tell you, my friend who got thrown off a horse, one day she broke down and she just told me the story about how she, you know, got thrown off the horse, and she has 2 daughters, and she experienced, she goes, and she's not a very religious gal or anything like this, but she told me that she experienced the, you know, like God right next to her, and she said that she could feel herself. That a what the heck was that? Anyway,
We're gonna lose Anthony to the cold if he doesn't run that thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm freezing. You heard that?
Yeah, it started up, man. It sounded like the UFO was coming to take you away. Anyway, yeah, I just was making sure you're still with us, brother. That's all. You're good.
I'm here.
You're fine. You're
65 degrees in this room. I'm cold.
Hey, man, why don't you get yourself a jacket? Hey, but no, she experienced this, man, and she, you know what? She actually experienced being on the other side, experienced the God next to her, and told me that day, and she didn't want to come back, but she had to.
I've heard that quite a few times. People don't want to come back.
She had to go to psychiatric counseling about this, man, because once she got back here, she didn't want to be here. Even with her daughters here, the power and the love that was on the other side was so great. She was like, you know, I wasn't glad to be back. I had to experience all the pain and all the stuff. In fact, my daughter, you know, that's a common story. I don't know how people get into how deep they get into it, but they struggle with that a lot, man, when they dealt with a real true near-death experience like this. So anyway, I thought I'd share that story because I remember, man, it almost brought me to tears listening to this woman tell me this story. So anyway, it was just something I thought was interesting, and Michael on the line now. So you experienced this like a situation where you said you saw yourself, you felt like you were outside of your body, right?
Yes, I basically I left my body. I was above, like on the ceiling, looking downwards upon my body, like myself slumped over in the wheelchair, and them rushing me to the ER, and basically seeing everything they said and what they did. And then when I woke up, I shared that with the doctors and the nurses, and they were like, they weren't surprised.
No, I think they heard that story quite often. Yeah. And
but the funny thing is, the funny thing is, I went through a recovery. I got healthy and I got strong, and then maybe a year later, in October of 2016, I was reading in my room, and I had this great fear came over me where I got anxiety, and I stood up, and then I saw a big bright light, and then I looked around, and everything seemed to be like HD, and I kind of shook it off, and I'm in a brand new townhouse complex, and when I walked down the stairs, everything seemed to be different. Like all my new appliances, I noticed right away, like the Samsung logo was different. I didn't put it together at that moment, but I said, this is kind of strange, kind of weird. And the following day, I took my kids drove them to school. I noticed right away, the Staples logo had a paperclip.
Mhm.
And here in Canada, in Vancouver, Canada, here we have like a superstore here. Like I don't know if you have those things, and all the superstores are green, and all of a sudden they were blue, like in a day. I started noticing all these cars around me driving around. They were different. I noticed the photo, and I was completely like, I was taken from one place to another place. This is not my city. This is not my place.
Mhm.
I mean, the streets are just, everything's the same, but it just like all these cars are different. I've never seen all these cars. I saw a superstore. The color was changed, and then I started talking to my daughters, and I said, "Do you guys not notice that the Staples paperclip? There's an L. There's a paperclip. You guys not notice the superstore? Well, what's going on here?" And my older daughter said to me, "You know, Dad, this has been happening to me for a few weeks now. My friends are different, and I've noticed things are different." And have you heard of the Mandela effect? I'm like, what do you talk about, the Mandela what? And that kind of led me down the rabbit hole.
Huh, fascinating. And your daughter led you on to the Mandela effect. That's interesting. And so she's been seeing it. Man, you know what's weird is I think I don't know what it is about this particular time period, but there's been so many changes and so many ramp ups. I don't know why. It has been like a quickening happening in the last 2 or 3 years, but it is, and I think we're coming to the end or coming to the beginning of something. And I would say that looking back at my life, I just cut a video talking about certain words and certain things that happened to me early on in the early 90s, and I didn't think much about it, but looking back, apparently there's been shifting going on for a long time. And I would say that because of the advent of the internet,
I agree.
It's given us a chance to to fellowship on this and talk about it, and for people to say, hey, yeah, I see this, I see that, and it's a way of sharing information like never before. Otherwise,
power. I mean, our awareness overpowers it if it's instantaneous. If we have to wait for a magazine to be published, or a movie or a book,
well, and we would just blow it off. It would be like, the cognitive dissonance would just kick in, and we'd be like, oh, okay, well, and like I said, I think these changes have been going on for quite some time, because even Angela on the Mandela Monday show, my co-host over there, she's told me that she saw the serials change a long time ago, like in the 90s and stuff. And
wow.
And it's just noted. We're just now noticing it. I know another gal who, I mean, her stories are fantastic. I mean, she actually went to work one day and her entire place was gone. This is just something like she's dealt with her entire life. Like, can you imagine going to work and it just not existing and never did? And then when you ask people next door, like, hey, remember I went over here and delivered some food to you? They're like, no. And here's the weird part. She told me the name of it, and I found reference of it in the papers, but only reference because the guy that worked at her place had witnessed a wreck, and they had him in the paper and is where he worked, and he worked at the same place she did. And I'm like, whoa, there it is. But I can't find any ads or anything like that, like for coupons or anything, for the place. But apparently it was a pretty popular place. It's like a pizza place, but it's gone now. And so I hear these stories and they're fantastic, man. They're just amazing. And I know there's so many, nobody would listen to you otherwise. And most of us, up until this point, had just blown all that stuff off as like, well, whatever. I've just dealt with something weird. And, and dare I say anything to anybody, because I don't want anybody looking at me like I'm crazy. Well, I guess crazy is in vogue right now, because now everybody's sharing all these wild stories and we're perking up listening, because you know what? We all have our own crazy stories to tell.
And I think everybody's yeah. And everybody's got to, well, they don't have to, they can do what they want, but I think they should get out on YouTube and post videos. The more, what would you say, Dan, what was it, Dan?
What's that?
The numbers.
The numbers?
Power in numbers. I mean, if
Yeah, the power in numbers right now that we have, the security in numbers, because we're able to come together and share experiences online, and the power in numbers helps us stay safe. Otherwise, if it was just a few channels and stuff like that, we'd be being picked apart right now. And they can't fight everybody. Yeah, they go after the bigger channels like myself. Sure. But there's tons of other smaller channels speaking their truth and getting the word out there that, hey, I agree with what these people are saying. And you know what? There's going to come a time where we will see more influential people, maybe in, politics, or people who might have been doctors, lawyers, more higher profile, say, jobs, come out and say, oh my gosh, what is going on here? I mean, we're already seeing it in the media. Now, in the media, they're trying to, blow it off as misremembering and all their other stuff. They're doing their, their bidding on it. But in radio, radio broadcasters are talking about it, and they're open to it, and they think it's strange. So they haven't quite, got. Now, you're not going to see it on television, folks, but you hear it on radio and shows like myself and Suso's and Jesse's and everybody else who talk about this stuff. And you know what? More are coming in. And like I said, just that's what I was trying to tell you guys earlier when, people mention, what should we do about waking other people up? I always say, mention it. And if it doesn't go anywhere, don't worry about it. It's okay. Maybe they'll look into it, and maybe something else will trigger them and go, wow, that was that Mandela effect that dude I met was talking about it. Yeah.
I mean, we have this society that half of people still trust written language as far as textbooks and magazines, and half of society are moving into an oral tradition because they don't trust the written text. And so we're creating a time capsule. But that time capsule is very powerful. That's shaking the very core of the powers that be, who need to keep the narrative. So, yeah, I mean, I just, like I said at the beginning of the show, there was an NPR piece where they tried to gatekeep the Mandela effect as a whole, but the contestants mutinied, and they said, no, Curious George had a tail.
Yep.
And the guy was like, I guess you're both wrong, because he no longer has a tail. And then everybody had to acknowledge how weird that was, because clearly they had memories of him with a tail. And
yeah, and these were planned.
If there is any agenda to to marginalize us or put us into institutions, it's going to be very conflicted people, just with their teeth shuddering the whole time, being like, "This doesn't feel right," That's where we're at. We are at that point of overpowering the powers that be with our memories, and like Lizette was saying, if you have this double life that you're leading, where you're connecting with people on the internet, and then you go to work or you go to the grocery store and you can't say it, well, that connects to 9/11, that connects to JFK, that connects to every conspiracy theory where people are dismissed for being a nut. But this time, it's not about how big and scary the powers that be are. It's just, I remember something kind of trivial, and it's different. And everybody's kind of bonding together on all these various issues, and it has a funnel effect where people are leaving the official story and they're just connecting to something, whether it's doing science in their backyard or look at all the stuff that Suso has behind him, something like that. And so even as they try to gatekeep us, the questions are too powerful, I think. Too powerful.
They're down to just, the simple, basic ad hominem attacks, death threats, things like that. That's what they're at to now. Okay, that's what we're getting now.
Death threats.
Oh yeah.
Who's getting death threats?
Oh, I did, and so did Paul.
Oh, stop!
I'm not kidding.
From, I guess,
some random person that sent him a letter in the mail.
Influence person. It's
the same BS, man. And the problem is that, like, dude, you can't. Whatever. Like, give me a break. I'm not even going for that. It's just at that point, it's just like whatever. So do what you want to do, okay? But I'm not going to shut up about it. I'm not going to stop talking about what I see. Okay, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to stop. Reporting. If there's something new out there that we need to take note of, and it's just and trying to bring more people to the realization that there's something is going on here. That's what I'm going to do, and I don't care. So
How
that's
did that new Mandela effect research come? Are you still researching?
Oh, what was that, sir? The what?
The new Mandela effect you mentioned to me earlier.
Oh, earlier? Yeah. No, well, I got a testimony from you, sir, and I've got and everyone I asked remembers it a bit different, like we talked about. So I would say yes. And it was definitely called that.
Mm-hmm.
Although now it's totally different, and the whole thing changed a little bit.
So it wasn't label changes or anything, right?
What's that?
Wasn't label changes?
No, it wasn't label changes. I went back and looked for the labeling. You would have thought if it was just a label change, the other way would be prevalent, and it's not. Okay.
Michael, before we move on, there was a question from the chat, and this is only if you care to give up this information. It was about they're trying to connect to your story, and I'm not sure which of your daughters they just want to know how old your daughter was.
My oldest daughter, she's 16.
Got it. Well,
yeah.
And talking about that too, Dan, is if the youngest daughter disagrees with a Mandela effect or even 8 or 9 Mandela effects, my question is, what's the cutoff point for us to say it's one reality or the other? Like, aren't we finding that it's more like a patchwork quilt?
It's not one reality. It's not right or left.
Right. We can't agree on the King and Nickelodeon. So, I mean, it's just like that's where everybody is at right now.
I almost believe it's some sort of dualistic thing happening here, like in the Bible, what the Bible talks about, as above, so below, idea and concepts. There's been a lot of symbolism everywhere talking about this as above, so below, and I almost think, man, maybe there is some sort of duality here to this world. Maybe,
but doesn't duality nail us into like one or the other, or black or white, or
pretty much
duality for you mean infinite?
Well, at least with the effect, I mean, you have people that want to remember it one way or another way. There's usually not more than one. You know what I mean?
The Tiananmen Square. Am I pronouncing that right? The
Tiananmen Square. Okay,
I've heard 4 different scenarios from that.
4 different scenarios. No,
it was one or the
other. I mean, me personally, there was only one tank. There wasn't a line.
I remember that guy getting run over, and I remember there was a Tiananmen Square massacre.
I remember they didn't show it
as well.
That's what I remember. I remember they wouldn't show it on television.
I actually saw that. I saw that.
Yeah,
well, they reported he got run over, and that was the reporting we got. And sure enough, yeah. And was there a line? Yes, there was a line of tanks in the beginning. Sure. There wasn't just one tank. No, they wouldn't show. No, they brought in a line of tanks.
Sir, I recall one tank. The first time I saw it,
yeah,
there was one tank. There was no other tanks behind it.
Okay, but they were focused on him.
You know what? Maybe I misremembered.
Let's call it quits, guys. We can't agree. Let's move on.
No, I'm saying no. You're right. In the video, they did show the one tank. They did cut away to show the line of tanks, but when they're showing him next to the tank, it's just one tank. So I agree with you. Yes, there is just one tank.
Okay, but besides that, I've heard reports where people just remember his foot being run over. He tried to get out of the way, didn't get out of the way in time, and they run over his foot.
Or 2 or 3 for some of us, right? Moving beyond one instance, let's say we got Photohelix, or we got Angela, or we got Dan, or we got Michael here, and we took all of our individual Mandela effects and we made a column for each person, but only the anchor memories, only the ones that people definitely connect to and they're sure of. We could say it's duality in the sense that instance to instance, it's one or the other, like the K and Nickelodeon. But over the whole group of people, like if we had a conference one day and people filled out a survey and we sat down and then we got people debating the things that they knew for sure, we wouldn't end up with one or the other reality. We would have something way more complex. Don't you think? And don't you think that could be one of the lessons that we're being shown is try to throw a lasso around it, you're not going to get it. You're
Yeah,
not
I
going to.
agree. And I don't think it should be one or the other, but that is what
Well,
we're
I think the
seeing most
majority of
of.
the time it is. I'm not saying.
Most of the time, that's what we are seeing.
Each
Yeah.
instance will have one or the other, but each person's experience, if they're confident in the memory, it'll be, yes, mirror, mirror on the wall. Kay and Nickelodeon, or you guys are crazy. Oh, your thumbs? You're you know what I mean? It's like everybody has ones that they don't even want to look at, but then when they look at, it defies their expectations.
Well, I'm definitely from the Sagittarius arm. I was taught that from a young age, and definitely four-seater for me with the Kennedy. And my name's Michael, so Mikey's always liked it, you know. Give it to Mikey. Mikey likes it. Mikey doesn't hate it. That's bizarre for me. And another weird thing that's happening for me is I get a lot of synchronicities, and I see a lot of numbers: 111, 222, 333, 444. So I've been through it all. Like I've thought about, is it possible that was there a mass extinction and we all died, and you know, our spirits or our soul doesn't die? Maybe there was a mass extinction and we joined with ourself on this timeline, and we remember our old timeline. Or are we here to
happening? Yeah, I've heard that.
Are we here, or are we here to bear witness? You know, to what is happening. I don't know, but the weird thing is when I awakened, a lot of family members, a lot of friends that are very close to me, they're like different people. They have different memories. They have different history of myself. You know, being a musician as well. You know, it's funny, like close band members that with me, they have different memories, and it's just quite strange.
Yeah, that's happened to me with family. Sure.
Yeah, it's like, and then people sharing with me history of myself, where it's like a history of a different Michael, and then, you know, and I don't say anything to them. I'm like, what are they talking about? Like, I don't remember that. You know, so it's like I'm fully awakened to what's happening, and it's almost like you have to let this fear fall away, and you know, and let like love and help raise this frequency of this place. Maybe that's why we're here.
Raise the
maybe
vibration.
we're here. Maybe we're here to be ourselves, because it seems to be that, you know, I was as sensitive before I am now, but I'm just fully awakened and enlightened. You know, it's funny. I was raised being a Catholic or a Christian, but now I'm really much closer to God now, with this full awakening that's happened.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when I look at the stars now, it's I mean, after this awakening, I've seen stars like just kind of just fly down and buzz me and my daughter. Like we're standing out on the porch, and all of a sudden these stars just fly down and they buzz us and fly up, and then they just sort of fade out. Like they're angelic beings or something, you know. They're not it's not what they told us.
Awesome. Great story. They are not suns with planets revolving around them.
Yeah, I with this white sun, you know, and you know, I've been following you guys since my awakening, and also like Life Matrix, and I see the spectrum of the rainbow. I've seen the with the lights, the stoplights. Well, here in Canada, it's, you know, the green light's always been on the bottom. But when I went over to our neighbors in Seattle, or just over in Bellingham, the green lights were on top.
Right.
And but here in Canada, they were always on the bottom. And I just thought, okay, well, maybe that's just the way the United States is. And now everything's, it almost seems like this place has its own set of rules. Like, crickets for me, they rub their feet together and that's what makes cricket sounds. And now it's like wings.
I think it's
it's wings now.
Yeah, so when they fly, when they flap their wings, that's making cricket sounds. It's not rubbing their feet together anymore. So I'm sorry that I've been experiencing this rainbow thing that we've been going through, and this blue thing that we've been going through, and it's just amazing. But I know that we always seem to stand to talk about evil and all this stuff like that. It's quite apparent with I've noticed with logos and symbology all around me. But what I do notice is the beauty of this place as well. And even though we have a white sun and different rainbow spectrums and all these things are popping in and out, but how much more does God have to do to show you how beautiful or get our attention to what's happening?
I agree with that. There are some amazing animal species on this world today. I mean, just amazing, beautiful colors, things that are just phenomenal that we're starting to see here.
And I agree. Peeping frogs are very nice to listen to, Patrick. You got to go on YouTube and find those. I do crickets. There's no crickets or insects up here, so I'll do crickets. Didn't mean to interrupt you guys.
No, you're good. You're good. No, he brings up a good point. We like to focus. It's easier to focus on some of the negative side of this Mandela effect, and I get it. And there's a lot of beauty amongst the negative that we're seeing. So, we need to focus on that.
I guess it is. It is quite shocking, though. When you really, it leaves you sort of shocked, right? Even though we try to shake it off, and it's great that we're a community and we're talking about it and we're sharing. But I think that we have to just let that all fall away. We have to just. This place seems to be like there's some sort of like love and honorability or empathy or something it's just lacking, and it's like these things that you guys talk about. When you try to share with people, and they're just very defensive, or they'll see it and they'll dismiss it, or they'll lash out at you, or like these people just cannot see, or I think these people have to be awakened on their own time, and I think we're here to be who we are. Being an empath or a sensitive person, I think that's what I'm here. Through everything I'm going through, and of course it's hard as well, right?
Well,
Being a father and a husband, and just try to get you things, and then this happens. It's just like when you have a spiritual awakening as well.
Who's got time to see timelines when you got a family to take care of?
It's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Plates,
when it's something I can't even really discuss with my wife, because I don't think she'd really understand. But I just have to I have faith, in the Lord.
Well, there's understanding. Right. There's also people who are easily overwhelmed. And 9/11 itself, just that one conspiracy, 9/11. I mean, it was an act of trauma-based mind control. That first word is really important. Trauma. They were cashing in on traumatizing people, putting them under a fog.
I like the word catalyzing.
What's that? Capitalizing.
Catalyzing.
Catalyzing. Yeah, cattle.
Well, they think we're cattle, right? They already think of us.
I really think it's a sense of fear that they're placing. I don't think. What I really believe is that all of us together create what we're seeing, and if we all bond together in love, I think we all stem from the Father, we're all beacons of light, and I don't think that whatever this if it's an alien being or it's an evil thing or if it's fallen angels or it's the evil one himself, I don't think they have the power because they've fallen away, and they need us to make their paradigm. That's how they enslave us. For what I see, is like every time I put on a television show or I put on a movie, it's all negative. It's all just evil things. It's all to bring you down. But what I've noticed too is also there's some sort of law. Whatever evil they do or whatever thing they do, just has to be some sort of disclosure of truth. And I've noticed that there's been disclosure in a whole bunch of different things, different shows, different movies. For example, like the new Star Trek Discovery, they're talking about quantum and they're talking about all these things that we seem to be going through. It's right there out in the open.
Yep. Rick and Morty is another example. A lot of the agenda in the cartoon show. And one of the concepts is revelation of the method, and that's what a few of us think that Elon Musk is doing right now. It's being just a little too on the nose. He's being just a little too cute, not necessarily to rub our faces in the deception, but that it's part of the revelation of the method. They're capitalizing. They're catalyzing.
I was watching that live. I was watching that live when they were bringing that car up into space, and my daughter walked in and she goes, "That's the biggest, fakest thing I've ever seen."
Did anybody think it was real?
I agree that
was real.
I saw it glitched out live. I saw the car it was inside of a studio, and it glitched out, and then all of a sudden it was in space. And I knew it was the fakest thing. It's just to, just to trick us, it's not real.
Just to trick us, just to reinforce fake outer space.
Well, I'm wondering about that. Growing up, I used to believe in NASA and I believe all those things, but now, like, I don't know. This place is different, right? I don't know. I haven't been to space, and having stars fly down and things look different, and yeah, I don't really think. I don't think it's what they said it is. Maybe this is like a heavenly type of realm.
Maybe SpaceX is just a necessary evil to sort of like almost literally make it so ridiculous that people do start waking up to the fact that it's a fraud.
Oh, come on! They had
they're at that level too, where they're just like they come out and tell people because people would freak out and lose.
It's almost laughable.
It is laughable to many.
Adams was there, and in addition to that, it was a reference to heavy metal, a 1980s cartoon rock movie. Mm-hmm. David Bowie, heavy metal, and Douglas Adams with all these little coded messages. That's revelation of the method. That's Elon Musk saying, "I'm not too comfortable with taking over NASA's mind control. I have to kind of hint at you guys because I'm not too comfortable being in this position." So some people who still trust the government no matter what, they're going along with it, and it's kind of weird, but the other reality is too frightening. They have to go all the way back to things like 9/11 just to consider it, just to consider that stupid car in space. It's kind of poetic from that point of view, the way that I look at people and the way they behave in groups and the way they need confirmation and validation from their friends in order to challenge their own beliefs in their head. A car in space, what's next? That's my question.
There's going to be no end, I think. I think they just push the envelope of stupidity and things that are just repulsive to many of us. Idiocracy. It is totally turning into
enact scenes from Idiocracy in the White House. They could do that. They could just play with it.
Sure. Well, look at Trump.
say
We have a guy that used to be a wrestler. Wait a minute. If you think about the movie Idiocracy, the dude that was the president, you know, well, Trump didn't play a wrestler. Trump was like in wrestling. He was in whatever.
No, but The Rock is talking about running for president, and Alex
I know. And you know what? We're at that point, Jesse, where I'm afraid that that's what we're gonna get. You know, next up, it's gonna be The Rock. And you know what?
Well, Kanye's
I heard Oprah Winfrey was running.
Oprah, Michelle Obama. My money's on Michelle Obama. That's because that sets up everything perfect for the race war. And if anybody calls Michelle a tranny, then it's all over, right? Because you're cashing in on that trauma. People who don't question the official story, they're connecting to the fact that she's a woman or that she's black. What? She's transgender. How dare you? You know, because they have to go back in time all the way to 9/11. They have to reconsider history and deconstruct it for themselves. So my money is on Michelle Obama personally.
Oh, I don't know.
Too dumb to do that.
It's whatever they want to. It's whatever they want to put in. You know, in the next.
I really think that all those things that, you know, are a distraction to our purpose, all those things, politics, fear, is all to keep us
100%. 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you know,
it's horrible that we're even talking about it, because it doesn't matter who the next president is. They're going to do whatever they're told to do.
No, but it's you know what, the masses, you know, it's what the masses. I mean, we're kind of on the fringe of what mainstream you know, says. So.
I just ask people to look at it like a screenwriter would look at it, you know, and if there's any sense of poetry to it, try to take yourself out of it and look back in and be like, wow, that's really poetic. I mean, it's hard. I'm not, you know, it's not an easy thing to do that, but sometimes you'll find things and you'll be like, nobody could write this. This is too dumb and beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've been feeling about NASA. All this stuff that the SpaceX thing brought up, I'm thinking about all the stuff they've done in the past, and I'm like, wonder if NASA's actually putting this stuff out bad on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the theories. Like, it's so, you know, ridiculous. Like, maybe it's a tester just to see how dumbed down people really are. And a lot of people are buying into it. You know, people buy into it. I mean, one of my best friends, man, I mean, he tells me, like, yeah, I go to church with a guy that, you know, works at NASA, and they're talking about warp drives, and he's believing it. And I'm like, oh, okay, you don't believe in 9/11. You don't believe in any of that. But the guy from NASA says, we're working on warp drive technology to get to Mars. You're all in, huh? Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever. Give me a break. Warp drive technology. I mean, it's like, you know, Elon Musk was freaking, you know.
But of course that's what they're going to do, Dan, because that's what's in on all the science fiction novellas from the 60s. That's what people want. So play into people's desires. Like, I can get you to Mars in 8 minutes, Dan. I can get you to Mars in 8 minutes.
How about a jump room, Jesse? How about a jump room? Can I get a jump room instead? That'll get me there quick.
Well, or immortal life, or, you know, all these weird, you know, women from Star Trek who are green but who have, you know, multiple, you know, breasts, or what, you know what I mean? It's just like, as long as it plays into our fantasies, as long as it plays into what the movies and the science fiction novels have been giving us. I mean, that's what Elon Musk was saying. He brought up David Bowie, Space Oddity. He brought up Douglas Adams. He brought up, what was the third one? Heavy metal. And somebody was pointing out other, like, science fiction novels that I think they put science fiction books in the capsule, or in the trunk of the car. And they were finding storylines from those science fiction novels about accelerating the lie to the point that humans had a new coming to consciousness, like the Age of Aquarius type of stuff. It's like there's a nod in that car about a novel with that very plot line of they wanted human beings to wake up not in 20,000 years, but in 1,000 years. So they accelerated the number of lies that they told them so that people would wake up. I'm not kidding you. They put books in that car with those plot lines. They're just hitting us over the head with it, thinking that they have got this age of Aquarius, age of awakening. You know, it's like it all fits into whatever worldview that you have. So if somebody like Elon Musk is waiting for the age of Aquarius, you know, he's rationalized it. He's rationalized why he's lying to you the way that he's lying to you. My problem is that they're not giving us a choice. There's no opt-out option.
Well, he's an actor anyway. So, I mean, I don't buy any of his
They're all actors.
BS anyway. You know, I think the show we did with Matt, who exposed it pretty well, understands like there is a deception going on here. And, you know, it's important to look at that too, I suppose. I mean, yeah, everything else we're seeing. And that's where this all like such an age of confusion happening right at this particular moment with so many distractions and everything else. And we're seem to be focusing on like, you know, like we're looking at the world like going, oh my gosh, look at all this new stuff. What's going on here? Look at the changes in the land masses. Look at, I mean, just those alone, the landmass changes are incredible. I mean, so, you know, and, you know,
yeah, my mountains here in British Columbia, here,
yeah.
Vancouver, they've changed. I've had buildings change.
Mm-hmm.
I've had old restaurants that we go for dim sum with the family. There's a restaurant we went to that was newly renovated, and when I shifted or came to this place, it's back to the way it used to be, and it's no longer renovated and new.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just weird theme of black and white lettering everywhere, and technology I haven't seen where lettering at nighttime is bright white, like sort of a blue tint, and then during the day it turns black. I didn't have that type of signage or technology in my timeline.
Sounds like some sort of nanotech or something going on there.
I don't know, but what I've noticed also too, like when it comes to movies, okay, like I'm a musician, I'm also an artist, but when you're an artist, you look at contours, or you look at, if you're into movies and stuff like that, you look at the directional point of view. If you've watched a movie 1,000 times, you know what's going to happen in that movie. It's almost like we came to this place, and it's like the director or the writer slightly made it different. You know, movies that I watch now are like different, just slightly different or directional different, or they add something.
Yes,
you know, before for example, like I was watching the movie, the new version of RoboCop, and before I shifted, me and my daughters were watching. We watched it quite a bit of times. And when I shifted, all of a sudden it was like almost a bit comical, and there's a lot different. And then he kept his human hand, and in my timeline they got rid of everything, and it was just bizarre. And, you know, just like Star Wars,
slight changes, yeah,
slight changes, and so like I asked myself this question: is it possible that
caller?
We lose him. Somebody in chat said something about Cuba moving far away. The Gulf of Mexico looks a lot busier to me bigger to me than
It looks like it's about almost enclosed to me. I'm like, no, man, it's wide open.
It found open. It looks more open to me now than it was before.
More open?
Yes, it looks. I can't get a clear picture of it either. So it's not. All right, here we go. It doesn't look like a gulf.
It looks like a bay now. It doesn't look like a gulf. I mean, it's like it's enclosed. Cuba is like about to shut it down. We have to start paying a toll to get out of there.
I don't see where it got further away, but it does look like it's
Cuba's
different.
Large. Cuba's incredibly large now, and there's a lot of weird changes there.
Please enter your PIN to join this conference.
Oh, that's what happened.
We get him back.
Coming up here in a second if he stayed in.
Michael,
This
Great.
conference is locked by the organizer. Please
Great
contact
call.
the organizer to unlock the conference if you would like to.
That's a great caller. That's kind of what I'm looking for as far as new people that want to get out and talk about it and talk about their experiences, help them, help other people listening.
Please enter your PIN to join this conference.
Don't have a pin.
This free conference call is provided by Uber Conference.
I.
Join conference now.
She's still here?
Conference locked.
Yeah, he's still here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael.
Did you kick on that? Okay. We dropped you. I'm sorry.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah, I can. They died off now.
Okay, I was having some weird delay. There's one Mandela effect that's happened to me that no one's really talking about is, for me here, my whole life, when I saw the liquor store, for me, I always had, like, liquor had an E at the end. And I know that how liqueur is spelled, and I even asked myself when I was young, why is it because all these liquor bottles, you know, it says liquor, but the main branch of a liquor store always had an E at the end. And that kind of hit me really hard. And I don't hear anybody talking about that. I shared it a couple of times on some sites with people. Maybe we should get some friends in the community.
I can picture an E on the end of it. I don't know that I recall it, but I could see. I'm looking.
Like the E is.
Would that be a cultural thing?
No, it's not a cultural thing. It's not a cultural thing. It was almost like liquor store, like a branch of a liquor store had the E, and the liquor that was inside the store did not have the E. So it was like a branch. And it's always been like that for me. I even asked myself when I was younger, why is that? But so that's kind of a shocking thing for me when I'm driving around and I see like liquor stores and the E is no longer there. But I don't see, the only residue that I've gotten from that is Italy. Italy had an E at the end of their liquor store, and maybe one other person in Canada remembers that, but maybe we need some of our friends in the community to actually research that more.
Well,
See, because that's a big Mandela effect for me.
Oh, it is absolutely a Mandela effect.
Nice, Danny. What'd you find?
Oh, I found 12,000 matches. Yeah,
E
it's definitely. Oh yeah, liquor all over the place with the E on the end. You bet it was.
There you go.
So it only, even in the United States, it wasn't just a Canadian thing. So the branches for stores outside had the E at the end, but of course, you know how you spell liquor, it doesn't have an E on it. But when you refer to a store, it had the E.
Absolutely, yeah. The E looks good.
It would be like me looking at furniture, and and then the E's all of a sudden gone or something.
It was like mattress having two T's. It was just mattress, MATRESS. It wasn't MATTRESS, and I showed it. I showed these proofs. I mean, there's too many proofs of it. In ads and everything else. Why would you spell it any different? Liquor definitely had the E. And I remember going through school. I remember changes would be made in school. I remember reality changes would be made. Like even the teachers, they'd be like, okay, well, we're changing it this year. I remember one year it was the $ with 2 lines through it. Then all of a sudden,
I remember that. I remember there was 2 lines.
I remember, the teacher's saying, nope, it's only 1 line now. It's only on 1 line. I'm like, 1 line? It had 2. I mean, that's.
I do have one memory when I was a teenager in high school, picking up a Johnny Quest book, and I thought it was a knockoff. I thought maybe it was a overseas or Chinese knockoff. And like, what? You didn't know how to spell Johnny? It's almost like. But people don't know how to spell in this timeline or this place. It's kind of weird.
that's what's weird about this place, because and I always say my world, it's my memories. Let me just say my memories. I'm not trying to say, I feel like when I say I feel like I'm an alien or something, but when that comes to play, okay, when I talk about that, and I look at stuff, and I see differences, and it's always weird. Like it always seems to be more like they were always, I don't know how to explain it, man. Like they were trying to the wording here in the logos and stuff like that just blows me away sometimes. Like, just go back to the simple stuff of Fruit Loops and all that. Why would anybody spell FROT, and if it was FRUIT? It was fruit.
It was
loops.
spelled like fruit. It was spelled like fruit, like for me as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And that's the ones that really get you in.
And there was always mirror on the wall.
Of
and
course.
There was Luke from your father, and from the Sagittarius arm, and Ed McMahon, and I see there's people like that were dead or coming.
That's why
alive.
Right. That's why I talk about this mirrored reality, where it's like okay, so if you got a mirror and you had just like a mirrored existence of another reality, like in one reality, just slight changes are just made at different times whenever decisions are that come up. I mean, and some of them are pretty big. I mean, I don't know what you were taught in school, but Eli Whitney was a black dude. In my
young black kid.
Yes, he was. Yes.
Now he's a white dude, man. That's trippy, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that blows me away.
So that one, I don't know. Is there a residual on that? I was thinking about the residual you guys were talking about, and that's just people that came from the timeline that we came from, right? Coming back, doing their job and whatever, and just spelling it wrong or.
It's terrible.
I remember the picture of him. I remember a picture of a black dude learning that in school.
There's no residual there. Yeah,
Oh no, I remember.
I don't remember a scarab god in the Egyptians.
No, there's no scarab god. That was all Photoshop. My goodness, that was hilarious. I was like, dude, there's no scarab god, no scarab-headed beetle. What the heck is going on, man? I was like, I just laughed so hard at that video. I was like, oh my gosh. So of course I got the questions for months. Hey, have you seen the scarab-headed god? I'm like, yeah, I saw it. I don't know what you want me to say about it. Go talk to Moneybags. Go ask him. I don't know.
Who I saw in the chat room, by the way.
Oh yeah, Money was in here.
He's
still here. He might still be here. I don't know. But yeah, I seen him right there. But yeah, that's the thing, man. It's John, there he goes. Laird Life, John Deere. That was weird. I was shopping for tractors. I was shopping for a little lawn tractor, and I looked over and I said, when did it turn into John Deere? And I just
that's weird.
Oh, it was weird, and I just thought it was stylized change of their name. I thought, okay, they just maybe
Ian's still in the house.
Maybe it is he okay. Hey man, what's up? I thought they just changed it up, man. I had no idea that it was gonna be a Mandela effect eventually, but I saw that prior to Mandela effect, and I saw the change, and it didn't bother me at the time. Had somebody come to me and said, hey, look at this John Deere thing. See that change? I would have been like, yeah, that's crazy. I would have saw it right then and there. But at that point, there just wasn't any information. Nobody had mentioned it to me about Mandela effect or anything like that. So, but I saw that change, and I saw a few others, and kept wondering, like, why is company logos changing all the time? But, I think that's where, and I kind of think to myself, that's where people are in a lot of times right now. They're just not researching it or just haven't heard of it. And I think there's a lot more people that are coming,
I think a lot of people are waking up every day.
Yeah,
and it's fun. Like they remember the way we remember it, and all of a sudden they're abruptly awakened to what we're experiencing. So I don't know. There's people saying it's back as far back as 2012, or even.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't.
Wow, Joanne Dare, I've noticed that too. It's not going down right.
Oh yeah. Melissa brought up the John Deere. I think that one resonates with her big time. in conversations with her. She's really, that one really gets her. And yeah, there's there's so many, and there's there's just basic anchor ones for us all. Okay. We can go down the list here. Jesse was on the Mandela Effect early on. He was talking about this stuff. He was one of the first video channels I looked at before I started making videos. Jesse was like, hey, what the heck's going on with all this stuff? Why are these changing? He was asking those questions and getting it out there. So that's why I would say, like, kudos to Jesse for having being brave enough to do it, because it does. There's a level of bravery getting out there, making your talking about this stuff, and putting yourself out there for ridicule, because it's going to come. And sometimes, as Moneybags will tell you, it comes very harshly. They can be very tough on you. And he more than any other channel, I think, Money's dealt with some really harsh people who've personally attacked a guy with, attacking his son and things like that. It's been pretty hard on him, because he's one of the bigger channels out there that is out there, talking about this, doing the voting videos and stuff like that. Everyone knows, he puts up a great system over there, just a thumbs up or thumbs down, vote if you agree or not. It's pretty simple stuff. And it's worked well. It's been a good, I think, definitely a good system. That
I send a lot of people to his channel to do that.
Yeah.
Quiz.
So Michael, which one was it for you that I mean, you told me, like, you started noticing a bunch of stuff, but was there, you remember, Michael? Let me ask you this one's mine.
The very first thing I noticed was we're living in a brand new townhouse, and we got all brand new Samsung appliances, and we've only been here a year. And the following, after this big bright light I saw, and this sense of fear and anxiety, and then all of a sudden, it's like I was seeing HD. My vision was like HD. I shook it off. My kids were still sleeping. My wife was at work. I walked down the stairs, took some deep breaths in the kitchen, and then I looked at our microwave, and I noticed right away that the A was like an upside down V. I was like, what the hell? Then it didn't really dawn on me. I was just, I was shocked. I looked at all my appliances that were like that. But what really hit me was the following morning when I took my kids to school, and I saw Staples and the Volkswagen and the Ford.
The Ford logo, yeah, was a big
the Ford logo. Yeah. That was like,
I used to work for a Ford dealer. I used to work at a Ford dealership, man. It was crazy. I saw that. I was like,
changed 5 times for me.
Ain't no way there was some weird loopy little thing in the side there.
That would never. No, there was never that.
No,
it was never like that. And in Volkswagen too, they never had a split. Like my best friend growing up to high school, family members, they all have Volkswagens. They're all into Volkswagens. Friends are all into Volkswagens. They never had a split.
No, it was just a smooth logo. But that's the thing, is like, then I started thinking, like, I started trying to, question my own sanity, going, well, maybe I just didn't see the slit because it's very small and it could blend in with certain pictures. And, you make all the normal.
You doubt yourself. You think, it's a logo change or it's an update or something like that.
You doubt yourself. You do question it.
Yeah, you get into that. And
but for me, like, honestly, for me, it was shocking. It wasn't just like, some people are noticing logos. Some people are noticing things like this. I started noticing right away different type of vehicles and cars and stuff I've never seen before. You're on the road every day. You know what cars are, what vehicles, what the shapes look like.
The station wagon is huge here.
So what's the station?
What is up with the wagon? The wagon went out in the 90s, but not here.
Okay, Mercedes, BMWs, those are high-end cars.
Yeah.
They would never have a station wagon. I see these station wagons. It's not just station wagons. it's like all these different types of vehicles. I don't even know what the hell.
You want to know
They
something?
they look different.
You want to know
Different
something
shapes.
crazy? This is something crazy, and I don't even understand how this happened, man. But when I was working as an engineer, okay, and I was in the office, and I remember I walked up to this guy. This is a true story, and I was in the automotive industry, by the way. And I walked up to one of the guys, and I said, "I came up with a great idea." What happened was I almost rear-ended somebody, and the reason I almost rear-ended somebody is because they hit their brakes, but I couldn't tell behind them. I couldn't tell how fast they were stopping. Until it was like, whoa, they're really stopping. Visually I could tell. So then I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if you had brake lights that pulsed? That if you hit the brakes really hard, they pulse to warn people that, hey, I'm braking fast. And I'm not kidding you. After the Mandela effect, and this is, I never said, I only told him about it. I only said it to him. I said, dude, I wish that we had brakes that did that, because that would be really cool. And he told me about the intermittent wiper guy, how he had this new invention for the cars. The car companies took it, they drug it out with attorneys, and the guy never made it. Was just a mess, and the guy never got paid out for his invention or anything. They just stole it. He's like, they're just going to steal your idea, Dan. Don't even worry about it. And I was young and impressionable, so I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. So years go by, and Mandela effect happens, and I'm behind the car, and the lights pulse when he braked really hard. I'm like, that's my invention. It's like, what the heck is going on here? And it was just more confirmation. Maybe it was a synchronicity.
I wrote
maybe you manifested it.
and it's been manufactured. And another one of the thoughts I always had was, like, I always thought the Christ the Redeemer statue was too small in Rio de Janeiro. I said, they need a big one. They need a big Christ the Redeemer up there, man. So everyone can see that sucker. When you go, it's massive. That'd be awesome. Well, guess what? It's massive now. And so, I don't know if the thoughts I had were just maybe we go back. Maybe when we dream, for instance, maybe we touch on another consciousness that's not our own.
I think maybe we're old souls.
I think
we've done this. I think we've done this a lot before. And
I
think we're here for a reason. I really do believe
I might agree with you on that.
I do believe, we are part of that 144,000, we're here,
yeah.
That saying, when you light a candle in a room, it illuminates the room, right? I know there's just only a small amount of us so far. Maybe we're here
to kind of
help the others.
Shed light on
to shed light on it.
Yeah.
And when the others awaken, it's not going to be so hard on them.
Well,
I've noticed a lot of people here are sensitive, or they have abilities,
sure.
And
always been empathic.
I think we're beacons of light, and we're here to help others on the path as well as ourselves. And
well, I don't want to proclaim any of that stuff, but I hear what you're saying.
Well,
I hear, I don't want to say I'm the beacon, but the truth is that I know what you're saying. I know what you're getting at, and maybe there is something to that. Like, there is a certain group of us that see things or whatever, but whatever it may be, I'm not here to brag or anything like that. I'm just here to share.
Oh no, I'm not at all.
Testimony with people, and
I've learned. I've learned to let my ego fall away and fear fall away.
I have no ego.
And I think nobody's better than each other. It's just some people haven't awakened yet, and I think we're here to help. I think we're very strong to get to something like this.
Moneybags asked a question. I have to say this, dude. That one was an early Mandela effect for me, but there was no residual at the time. I looked it up. Moneybag. Yeah, it was LUVS, man. It was Loves truck stops. It wasn't Loves. It wasn't LUVS. It was Loves, man. LUVS. My mom worked at Loves for a while. She actually worked there as a waitress for a while, and I'm like, man, it was LUVS, and I remember I asked her about it, and she remembers LOVES. I'm like, no, Mom, no. Oh man, it's so frustrating when you got people around you that don't see the stuff. Golly.
Skechers is pretty crazy.
Look, I busted that one wide open. I called the lady.
Oh, yeah.
I got a hold of the lady that filed the dang patent, and the woman put a T in it. And I'm like, honey,
I'm very thankful to you, Scarab, and
oh man, that
and,
was
and
a
to the
big one for me.
community. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, man.
It helped me. It helped me definitely.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Dude, Money, I'll thumb that video up, bro. If you make the Loves video, it probably won't get a lot of loving. I want to tell you right now, though, a lot of people remember LUVES because it's an old change. I think it was I think it's an old change, man. I don't think it's something new. It might be an older one that happened, maybe in the early 2000s or something. But dude, yeah, if you make the video, I'm there to thumb it up, dude. But I want to tell you, it's gonna be crickets. It's not gonna go well. More people are gonna remember it the other way. It's gonna be like my Marlboros, where I remember BRO on the end and not Boros. And that's just one that a lot of people didn't resonate with that one. There's some I've put out where I'm like, man, they were solid ones for me. I remember they were making fun of Garbage Patch Kids, and they came out with Garbage Pail Kids, and that's what I remember as Garbage Pail Kids. But so many people were like, no, man, don't you understand? They were like, it's a Garbage Patch Kids because cabbage is growing in the patch.
So what is the Garbage Pail Kids? Because I remember
Garbage Pail Kids
cartoon.
It was like so basically it was remember Cabbage Patch Kids? Remember those little dolls everybody had, and they were fighting over them and everything. Okay, there was this crazy stuff. I mean, people were like going to blows over some Cabbage Patch. It was like the first toy where people lost their minds, and I remember that. And then they came out with cards that the kids had, and they were called Garbage Patch Kids. Okay, Garbage Patch Kids.
They weren't the Garbage Pail Kids, because I do remember Garbage Pail.
It looked like Cabbage Patch Kids, but they call them Garbage Patch Kids. And I know it makes sense to call them Garbage Pail Kids, but the point is that I remember the patch, and I found some residual on it, but it wasn't a lot. It was like maybe 5 things or something like that people hadn't remembered, and people just chalked it up as a misremembering thing. But it was distinctive for me for some strange reason. So there were some that I came out where, my videos, some of my early videos weren't always that, dead on. Some of them were, kind of out there. And there's been other effects. Like, for instance, this one's so weird, man. I don't know. There's some that I only want to mention, dude, because it's so bad. It's like, I don't want to be the guy, it's like, oh man, should I
be that guy, Dan? Be that guy.
I don't know, man. Okay, so if it's gonna be, this is a weird one. This is gonna really trip you out, okay? But for me, when I say the word J. Edgar Hoover, I remember J. Edgar Hoover as the president. J. Edgar Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover is president. And Herbert Hoover was the director of the FBI. But now the men have flip-flopped. And this is the weirdest thing. I remember it was J. Edgar Hoover, and then now there's Herbert Hoover. Herbert Hoover was the president now, and J. Edgar Hoover is now the director of the FBI.
Well, I would have thought it was the other way around.
I thought J. Edgar Hoover was the president, man. I was absolutely sure.
Me too.
Yeah, I was.
I mean, I'm not as sure as you are
on that one. And I had another person that was like, "Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover was the president," and everybody's like, "No, it was Herbert." And we got in this conversation. It's like almost having like one of those Mandela moments. Like, yeah, didn't he die? Or no, wait a minute, he's president. What? That kind of thing. So I was with a group of people, and some of the people in like half the group was like, "Wait a minute, yeah, I remember J. Edgar Hoover as president. What the hell's going on?" And I'm like, "Oh man, maybe it's a Mandela thing." And they're like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, do I need to get into this right now?" Because it was early on. It was a long time ago, and it was a weird one that I remember. And but I never really brought it out because even though I found some residual where people did make the reference to J. Edgar Hoover being president, just not enough out there right now. But here's the weird part about the Mandela effect. If you have a thought about something and you've gone looking for it and you can't find evidence of it or whatever, wait a month or so. Go back and look. You'll find new evidence all the time, even some of the older stuff that didn't do so well. Maybe anybody out there like yourself or others that just couldn't find the residue you needed, go back and look. Sometimes that stuff just seems to appear overnight. You have new information to show people. So.
a fun segment idea for Suso. Anthony, this being your first podcast live streaming, have any notes for yourself, things that you learned, things that you noticed about yourself, the rhythm and the flow, what you do different next time? How do you feel?
I really like what's going on. I like it. I think I need to talk more sometimes, but I don't really have to with you and Dan in the room.
Sorry, man.
No, you just take it away, brother. That's awesome. I'm absolutely loving this.
Yeah, the phone lines are really magical.
They're what? Manageable?
They're magical, you know, the relationships that people form, people crisis bonding with each other. It's taking a face out of the crowd in the chat room and getting something super specific, learning about their family. I'll never get tired of this, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's always fun. And I love interacting with people out there and hearing their stories and their testimony. I was going to ask Michael, what do you think about the pyramids, man? Was that a home run for you, or did you have a memory of it another way?
And before he goes on, we're dust. Thank you very much. It's not that cold in here. I'm just used to it being 90. And my cats have been screaming at me because they're cold too. They got fur. They should be fine. Mike, go on. You're like this. You're the reason why I'm doing this. You're the epitome.
I've got somebody trying to connect. I don't think it's Michael though.
Oh, okay.
Did we lose Michael?
Conference unlocked.
Oh, I didn't know he left.
Let's see if somebody's
connecting.
Try one more time, caller.
Oh, Mike's on the chat. He said he got disconnected.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'm feeling probably about one more caller, Suso. Dan,
Okay,
Sure.
yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, sure.
A good
Sure,
three and a half hours.
It's only getting colder over there, so.
That's right. It's 7 degrees now out here.
Conference locked.
Hello.
Hi, sorry about that, guys. I got disconnected.
Oh.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah. Did you hear what I said?
Guys,
Hoover?
Just partially, and
yeah, I remembered a world, my world, that I would have said J. Edgar Hoover was president. I remember it being J. Edgar Hoover. Not Herbert Hoover. And now the two men have switched roles. It's the weirdest thing. So I'm like, wow, that's phenomenal. That's really trippy. And that was early on. And like I said, I've known about that for over a year. And it was just something I was like, man, I don't have enough evidence. I've looked into it, just not enough really to make a video on it. I mean, we can talk about it and, it's good to bring it up. But it's like, it's one of those things where it's not a lot of residual of it, man. And it's weird because it seems like, and I'm not kidding you, old man, but it seems like they started like reinforcing the narrative with the movies. Because I remember they all of a sudden came out with this J. Edgar Hoover movie to show his life and explain it. Just like, Jackson's had a movie, and they, I mean, all this stuff that has changed. It's like they come and they reinforce the narrative with a new movie or something, just to make sure. And I almost wonder if that's not what these things are like. A lot of movies and stuff like that aren't. What they are is just reality reinforcers. That's what they do. They just reinforce the narrative on you. And also they also along with predictive programming, obviously. I mean, I saw years in advanced technology that wasn't even available, but now exists today. And to me, that's like, yeah, I saw that coming a mile away. And when they showed certain things on, I think I was watching Bones, one of those shows like Bones. I mean, they show this this world where they have this technology that does not exist. And yet all of a sudden nowadays that stuff is readily available, and example, one of the shows started out with this big telescreen showing the whole city. And then in the city, they triangulated a gunshot down to like, within a few 100 feet. And by putting in little microphones all over the city, they could triangulate gunshots. Well, I've heard that technology is available. That wasn't available back then, and it's just reinforcing this narrative that this is a police state we're going to have one day. It's going to be so cool because look what we get to do. We get to stop crime. It's for your safety. But you know, it's always, you know, they always have a guise of why they need to, you know, take more and more of your privacy away, and you know, create the police state they want to create. And they always, you know, they always wrap it up in something cool and neat in a really, you know, in a show that everyone likes, and we all listen, and we're like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be great. And nobody's asking the big question. I remember, dude, there's so many of those like reality reinforcing like ideas that get pushed onto us, and we don't. And so many people just take it like, oh, okay, sure, that sounds like a wonderful idea. You know, let me just jump on board with that. And I don't think that's always a great idea. I think people need to, you know, that's where I think we need to be smarter and look at what they're doing and wonder why they're pushing a certain direction, why they're sending a certain narrative. And yeah. So anyway, my question to you, Michael, was the pyramids. What do you remember? Do you remember it like me, where the Great Pyramid was in the center?
Well, yeah, everything's different now in this place. It seems like all the pyramids are the same kind of size now, and I definitely don't remember. I remember the pyramids being way out in the desert, and
Right.
They didn't have little pyramids in front of them, and the main pyramid in the middle was the largest pyramid, and they all reflected the constellation of Orion.
Right. And
That's one thing I want to bring up to you.
Here it's
this is one thing well, I wanted to ask you. You know, we were taught that we're from the Sagittarius arm. Is that where you remember?
Yes, absolutely. We were on the very edge. I remember seeing I remember the poster where it showed the little arrow, and it was like on the edge of the, and then like it blew me away because someone made a video saying that we've moved. I think it was Harmony made a video saying, oh guys, I think we've moved to another spot in the galaxy. Look at where they're saying we are. And I'm like, wait, whoa, we are not 2/3 of the way into the dang galaxy. We're
in the center now.
we're not going near the center, man. Like, what the heck is that all about? And then I'm like, okay, well, you know, that's if the galaxy exists in the first place. We can always get on that. That's another debate. But the point is, let's just go with what the narrative is. All right, so there's a galaxy, and we're on the outer edge. Okay, fine. And now we're super close. Well, that is a when I saw that, I was like, okay, that is just reinforcement to what I saw in the sky one night when I saw Orion, which, by the way, is still much larger than it used to be in the sky. Orion is bigger than it ever was. The constellation of Orion.
Well, now we're in the constellation.
We're now in the Orion Spur, which,
actually,
by the
looks
way,
a lot closer to me now.
if you do some research,
that makes sense.
If you do some research and you look at where the Earth was before and where it is now, it would be much closer to Orion. And what I saw in the sky that night, when I saw it, you know, like 30 times larger, I mean, it was insane. Like, I could see the gas cloud of the nebula with my naked eye. Okay, that's just impossible, people. You can't see it unless you're in a really clear area. And I wasn't in a clear area. Mine's
talking to a friend.
It was crazy. So I saw this, and then I saw the video about us moving, and it all made sense. Like, dang, man, that's kind of crazy. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that. That's this got closer and brighter. Phyllis Wheeler. Yeah, I would say it's just bigger. There is a lot of changes in the sky. For instance, Saturn is like, I remember that was another thing. Saturn lost its brightness. So I don't know if like it's Saturn and this whatever we are is further away or something.
It's weird. It's like I shifted a few times. I kind of use it as a beacon. Where are we located in the galaxy? Even though we don't really know exactly what they're telling us, right? Even though that we were taught that we're the Sagittarius arm, but I went from like Orion, then now it's the Orion Spur, and then just recently I've learned too that in Sagittarius B, they discovered a huge black hole there. So that's why I'm just wondering. Okay, now I don't want to think that
Well,
CERN has power, or okay, everyone's thinking that. I just think that's a fear factor, even though it's, it could be possible. In this place, there's so much quantum.
It's like, I don't know,
entanglement
man. We've
and
been
things
taught
going
so
on.
much bull crap with them. That's my
I'm
problem.
just wondering. Is it possible?
Gravity waves, really?
But we're actually
No.
You know,
Is it possible that they destroyed us?
well, if you go
And now
by
there's
the
a big black
narrative,
hole
yeah.
there, and now we're in a different spot.
And there's a good possibility they want you to think they have the power to destroy us, because that's what they want you to do. Because us,
I think that's what I
still here.
I used to think so. I used to think that they might have done that, but now I just think no. This is a godly thing, and that's a fear that they're trying to use. Just like 9/11, just like all the shootings. Now, mind you, people are hurt and killed, but all this
9/11, right? 9/11 was nothing but a fear tactic.
Just to lower our frequency.
I saw a video for a while on YouTube where a guy supposedly was in South America hiding out. This was a story, but I saw cardboard cutouts of people falling from those damn towers. The guy recorded them falling.
Wow.
Yes, dude, and it's no longer. I don't think you can find it anymore. It's gone. But here's the thing: there was that. There was.
It's not even the same here now. It's like you have extra damage. You have extra buildings. It's not even the same scenario.
I'm not sure about the other buildings and stuff. I mean, I do know, I mean, everything looks the same as far as the attack goes on the two towers and building 7 collapsing. All that looks the same to me. We can make, reference to the rest of it and what all, but like those were the things I just focused on. I can't say I looked at the rest of it really clearly, like to say, oh, I don't remember that building being damaged by the fall or whatever. But you know what is really weird, man? Oh, gosh, I was thinking about something. Just lost my train of thought. Oh, about the fear. Okay, so go back now. Yeah, well, I was gonna just say that one of the other fear tactics I think they've been doing for years, and I know I sound like a nut when I say this, but I don't believe in nuclear weapons. I don't believe that nuclear weapons exist. Not in
just
the
like
sense,
Hiroshima. Like, why isn't there any fallout still in Japan?
Why didn't anybody die of radiation poisoning, man? Give me a break.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna tell me because they ate seaweed, they're all good? Come on, man. You know what? Just stop. No, I'm not. No, let me just go on and say, I'm not saying nuclear power doesn't exist, because that's known science and it does exist. Nuclear power does that. But going from nuclear power to creating a bomb, okay, is a whole different. That's a whole new chicken. Okay, that's totally different. Okay, and when you go back and look, they got video of them stacking dynamite. Okay, and popping these things off, and also prospectively just go back and look at some of these new videos. Man, that looks like some CGI to me. It looks like crap, and I think that was just to get our mothers and our fathers to bend down, okay, bow down to the almighty God that is government, and be thankful that you got the government, because God forbid somebody else gets this power, because we got nuclear weapons and we're the good guys and we will protect you. And that's what all that was, is a huge control mechanism, man. I mean, it's been going on for forever, and they use television to scare the crap out of people, man. I remember watching The Day After Tomorrow, or The Day After. Remember that movie? That scared the shit out of me.
That's how they call it programming.
Yeah, right.
I was, my friends and the people I know are quite different now. And I noticed on Facebook, they're really sucked into this division with all this racism and all this stuff that's going on around the world. And then I asked myself this, and I actually, I prayed upon it, and I asked for some discernment, and I asked about all these things that are happening. And what I realized with everything that's going on is, this body, we all have a spirit, we all have a soul. And if you take our soul and our spirit out of our bodies, right?
Or the
all
equation.
these different all these kind of races and all these kind of bodies, all these different type of people. And you take we all stem from the Creator. We're all part of the Creator, right? And what I feel is all this stuff is happening is this fear and all these things is to lower our frequency where they can enslave us. Because I think that we're much greater. I really believe that, the Creator, we're His children. We're part of Him or her, right? And they don't have the power. I feel they've fallen away. The only power they have is deception, and they need us.
No, you take the power away to
They
God. You
need
give it
us.
to men. You give it to fear.
They need
You
us
give
to
it
manifest their world, and manifest their,
Yeah.
just like I was watching, or I was penetrating about the Roman times and the Colosseum and how they use the masses and entertain the masses, and their agenda even now in the modern age, and they said, okay, we're going to build Colosseums, we're going to have
Entertainment is
sports,
mind
we're
control.
gonna do entertainment. We're going to keep them busy while we do what we want, and I really feel that we manifest our thoughts, and we create. Just think if we all bonded together with love, the power of love. They're fearful. If we all awakened and we all joined together, solidarity. There's just no way. I really think that they can't stop us. If we're awakening already, people are already fearful. Oh, no, there's not enough of us. I just think, you light up one candle in a room, that illuminates the room. So if there's even a small amount of us awakening, that's what we're here to do.
But it's growing. It's more and more. It seems every September, or maybe even May, but every September it seems like a lot more people.
There's a new wave of initiates.
I've been just crazy with synchronicity and numbers, and I'm researching, and I asked God for discernment, what's happening. And I came across this channel. It was talking about the Gospel of Thomas, and it's funny, the thing is, in the Gospel of Thomas, it was talking about the Mandela effect within that gospel. And it's funny how they took that out of the Bible for us not to see. And as I was listening to that synchronicity, I looked on the clock. It said 333, and I was like, "Whoa!" And just as I saw that, a van drove by me, and you know what the van said? On the van it said Trinity Plumbing. I was like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
So I tried to take a picture of it, and I couldn't get it. But then I Googled it, and then I found the company, and it's a Trinity. So you ask for guidance, you ask for discernment. He's going to talk to you if you're listening. I think all these synchronicities is guides, and it's I really feel it's either our angels or our guides trying to help us on this path.
I think there's a spiritual awakening going on right now. Absolutely.
There is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
and I really think ancient civilizations really knew about that. Like, I'm a follower of Christ. I know I love the Father, but there is philosophies, like there's also old civilizations, like even the Buddhists. They believe that what you think is what you become. I am what I think. And I really believe that they were in touch with, divinity gifts that we were given. For me growing up, I was always able to, I come from a blood family line where either you could hear or you could see spirits or you could feel them. That's, it's either a gift or a burden for me because I could feel how people feel. But this awakening is much more. It's almost like I have to do like Qigong or meditation every day, keep myself grounded, because it's sometimes it can be so overwhelming.
Which I found is a very important thing that's worked for me. I haven't meditated in a long time since this happened. I mean, off and on. But recently I started meditating right when I wake up, do a little 15, 20-minute meditation, and the day is so much better. I think it's an important thing to do.
Well, prayer is good. Meditation, prayer, however you want to call it, getting reconnected with your inner self is always a good thing. And I think that that's an important lesson, I think, right at this particular time, because I think many people are struggling with anxieties of this world right now, because we see the changes and we see things that are happening right now, and I think it can bother, they're just bad days. I mean, I don't know about
that's a very weird thing for me. I never had anxiety of it before, and then when I had this shift or change, it just seemed to happen to me. I was afflicted with anxiety.
Oh, me
in the
too.
Beginning.
Oh, incredible.
In the beginning. Now I don't have it.
Well,
sometimes it can come. It could be triggered, but I never had that in my entire life until this. And another weird thing is it's almost like I was having like vibrations and
oh my God, the vibration
and the ringing in the ear.
Oh my God,
vision change and perspective of colors.
Blurry vision still happens to me, and I still go through these cycles where I can feel it. I'm very sensitive, I guess, to these things, but for me, it's like whenever there's a shift about to happen, where there's been a lull in videos about the Mandela effect, then all of a sudden it's like, for me, it's a roller coaster, and I'm up and down, and I can feel it, and I can tell when there's about to be a shift, and I'll actually say it, in my videos, like, kind of like mention it, and people go, yeah, man, I'm feeling that too, or whatever. And sure enough, here comes new changes. Here comes new things that are just popping up. And it's just like, wait a minute.
It's like last week it happened. It just, yeah.
Last week was huge. Last week was huge.
Last week, you know what happened to me last week? In my city, okay, I was born and raised here, so your city, okay? But when I shifted to this place, it's so much different. But I had a weird shift that I felt it was overwhelming. And I drive up the street, we call it Boundary Road, and they have this huge building, we call it the Telus building there. And for some reason, we had this shift. The building has changed, and now it has like a split down the middle with a black top. And it looks very bizarre. And my daughter noticed it as well. And then I shared it with my cousin.
Yeah, architecture. Yeah.
Well, it's like Red Robin turning to Red Robin, or just maybe 1 week before I had this shift, I took my daughters to a movie theater in Vancouver, and after the shift happened, when I awakened and all this happened, I went back to the movie theater with my daughters, and it's all changed. The color of the building has changed. It has recliner seats in there. It's all high tech.
Oh wow!
And my daughter's like, "What the hell? How can they do this in like a couple of days?"
I've listened to testimony of people. There's a gal I know. Her name, I won't say her name, but she told me, and she's a friend of mine. I've known this girl since we were in junior high together. And she told me, I was talking about Mandela effect, and she goes, there's something that happened to me. She goes, I didn't know what the heck was going on. I thought I was going crazy. And I go, well, you're not crazy. Go ahead and tell me what happened to you. She said, okay. I took my daughter to go get her haircut. We went down to a stylist up the street. We went inside there, Dan, and everything was like brand new. It was like the floors were different. They had new equipment, new chairs. I mean, it was the same place, but it was like updated, and like they had more money to do stuff, and they did it like, and I'd been in there a month ago, and I couldn't believe how fast they worked to do it. So I was just in awe. I was just looking, and me and my daughter were like, wow, this is really nice in here, you guys. And they're looking at us like, what's the big deal? Well, then she goes back in a month later to go get her daughter's haircut, and it's back to the old way. And she just looks at her daughter, and her daughter looks at her and goes, no, Mom, no, don't say it. And it was just this reversal, and it went back. And so for a while, and I've heard that with so many people that have said, hey, Dan, I've heard you talk about videos in the other, in the reverse. I heard you talking about JCPenney actually You know, having
that's
to eat
another
and
big
losing
one for
and
me.
eat.
Is JC. Yeah, JC Penney's is a huge one for me.
Oh,
as well.
huge one for me.
Like,
Yeah, it was always
my
a penny.
mother used to drag me all the time to get clothing for herself. You know, she was a bit of a bigger woman, and so she had to shop there for, you know, bigger women clothing. So that was shocking to see that like that as well. Panini.
Yeah, man. No,
That
it's
kind of strange.
those individual stories are so crazy. And then the same guy who told me about my video where he said for about a week I was talking, he saw me in another reality talking about Mandela effect. I mean, this was crazy stuff, man. And I would not have believed him had he not shared what he shared with me. And by the way, the fact that his wife, you know, I mean, these are people of sound mind. The guy's he works as a paramedic. His wife works for a senator. I mean, these are people that are high, you know, and there were 3 witnesses to this. So I was like, okay, well, there's 3 witnesses. And then he comes out and he says to me, he goes, Dan, he goes, he goes, I've been working as a paramedic, and lately, and this is back in 2015, 16, there were people coming in. It was not reported, but you wouldn't believe this, but there were people waking up, not remembering who their significant other was. They actually thought, one woman thought there was just some creepy
What a
man.
nightmare.
Oh yeah,
or losing your family members or kids, like, you know, that's
just
kind of shocking.
It's unbelievable. Some of the stories he was sharing with me. I was like, that is freaking horrific. Now, here's what happens. The person wakes up at first and they're like, oh my God, who are you? Why are you in my house? And she's losing it. And she's running out of the house hysterically. They call her, they take her, you know, she goes and gets, you know, treatment or whatever. Okay. Then slowly but surely she remembers that it's her husband. But for a minute there, she remembered that this dude that was in her house was not her husband. Now, what kind of psychosis is that? Like, who is a normal person wakes up and doesn't remember their husband or their wife?
You're saying it was more than one?
Oh, yeah. He was telling me this happened on multiple occasions about this time. There were people that just didn't take an update, you know, that woke up and were just freaking out, and rightfully so. Wouldn't you be freaking out if you woke up and like you all of a sudden you got wife and kids for a while and you didn't remember them?
Well, I woke up too.
I think that actually happened to me.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I felt like, you remember the movie The One with Jet Li? And
Yes.
he was fighting himself in different dimensions.
Yes.
Different timelines.
Yep.
And at the very end, he ended up lucky being with his wife again. I felt like I was taken from this place and shoved into this place.
Yeah.
You know, when not gradually, like full blown, and I have retained all my memories.
It's like a dream.
It's a dream. And when it happened, here's some examples. Like, all my passwords were different. I had different history.
Oh, man. Oh, dude. Yeah. Oh my God. Not my passwords, but my, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I at least I was able to I could share this with my older daughter. So, you know, we kind of make jokes together with us to get through like what we're getting through. You know, the funny thing is, like, all my DVDs of like Star Wars, like the box set had changed.
Mm-hmm.
My ET DVD had changed. It's all different, and I definitely, there was no silver leg on C-3PO. It was never like that.
Oh my God.
And
yeah,
when it happened, I noticed, you know, there's toys out there, Disney toys, that they have the C-3PO with silver legs. So I bought one for my daughter for fun, so we can chuckle and make jokes about it. And then the funny thing is, there was a store called HMV, and it was in a mall here in the city. It was closing down, and the owner had a New Hope Star Wars poster that was in the attic. He took out to get rid of it, and he sold it for $40. And it was the original, and it had C-3PO on it, all golden. So I bought it for my daughter for a gift, so we can share our memories together.
Checked it lately?
Well, you know, the updates now, because of this timeline or this place things I read on stuff, and I have residual though of the actor with pictures of him with the entire suit all gold, and then one with a silver leg. The same kind of setup. It's almost like we're intersecting timelines or melding.
Yeah, no,
You know?
it is, and like I
It's
said, they
weird.
kind of fade together. It's weird, and
Okay.
it is the strangest thing. And you talk about password changes and stuff you mentioned earlier, and I had the strangest dang thing happen to me. eBay, I'm still jacked up from that, man. I'm on a list because,
It's a capital B for sure.
well, not just that, but the fact that eBay for me, one day I went to make some purchases back in May of 2016, and went to make purchases, and they said on the eBay store, it said, "Oh, sorry, check your credit card, information. It's not something wouldn't jive in with my information with PayPal." And so I kept trying to I thought there was obviously a glitch or something. It said it didn't process, so I figured I'd just keep trying. I tried it to the tune of 8 different times, to purchase a few things. And next thing I know, I look at my account and dude, there's like $400 missing. And I'm like, whoa, dude, it did go through. So now I'm at a crossroads. I'm like, okay, eBay doesn't have no record of me purchasing this, but yet it got purchased. So how'd this happen? So I thought it'd be a simple fix. Oh, no, it was not a simple fix, because once they got a hold of me, they're like, who are you and why were you buying 8 items? I'm like, I'm not buying 8 items, you ids. I'm buying 1 item, but it wouldn't go through in the system, and somehow it still charged my account. You tell me how that happened. I don't know. And I'm like, I have my account. They're like, who are you? I'm like, who am I? What do you mean, who am I? And they're like, they thought they were talking to like some guy who hacked their system, and they didn't even know who I was. They wanted to see forms of identification. I had to send them that, my driver's license, everything, trying to prove who I was, and they still didn't know who it was. Eventually, they didn't know what to do with it, so I eventually kept moving up the ladder. I'm talking, this is 3 weeks later. Finally, I talked to this guy in New York or somewhere, some big office, and he handled this situation. He's like, look, I will just get your money back to you tomorrow. You're going to get it all back. We're sorry. And that's it. Okay. Well, I thought the problem was figured out and corrected, but I was wrong. And even to this day, if I try to sign up for an eBay account, it will not let me sign up. So I don't know what happened on their end. I don't know what the heck. I never had a problem doing anything, but all of a sudden they acted like they didn't know who I was. It was the weirdest. And I've been with them for almost 10 years, man. This is, and so I don't know if the accounts were switched or whatever. Just strange stuff, man. Just odd.
Same here.
Yeah.
It's just like my surgeon, my doctor, I had a follow-up appointment, and then his office wasn't in the same spot. It was a different office, and then there was a special building that's no longer there. They're no longer there, and the people that were helping me, they have different careers, they're different outcomes, and this is like just a short time. It's all changed, and it's crazy. And then I had to go do a testing in a hospital, and they had two different profiles of myself, and they were confused. And then they had to sort it out. So I was like, wow, it's crazy, man.
So now, how would that be possible? How would they have so? I'm gonna have to.
So this is what I literally think. I really think
quantum.
Is it possible that we merge with ourselves or something like that on a different timeline, and we have our memories of our
dual memories?
Timeline?
Is that what they call them? Dual memories?
That's why I'm getting back to. Was there some sort of mass extinction or something that happened?
Well, I said that about the volcanoes that I was checking out in February of 2015. I figured one of the volcanoes went off and there was a mass death.
I would think we would have a residual or some sort of. Here's what I noticed from people that seem to. Okay, this is what they remember. And what more people that are Mandela affected seem to not remember this cataclysm that happened. A lot of people remember a rapture event. Weirdly enough, they remember a situation where people were being pulled up into the sky.
I don't remember a rapture event, but I have a.
Well, I'm not saying to remember it. I'm saying it's just a.
An
It's
event.
uh-huh.
Something happened that I've not talked about. I've not put in my book. I don't want to sound crazy.
Well, you know what? I think that we're here to be witness to what's happening. I don't think that we have to let that fear fall away.
Yeah, every time
We
you
have
say
to.
that,
We have to tell.
Yeah, Michael. Every time you said witness,
I'm wary. I'm putting myself out there. But it's just ongoing, and I think that the more and more these things happen to me, and I can see it, I think that I have to share that. I can't be quiet anymore. I have to. I think I'm here to be witness to it.
Said it again. Every time you say that word witness, I keep thinking, I put it in the book somewhere, and yeah, that's what we're doing. We're witnessing.
Because I tell you what, I saw a huge flash of white light, and all of a sudden, my body just felt like it was a very intense form of anxiety. I had to shake it off. I had to walk it off, and then everything was different. It's almost like I went from one place to another place instantaneously.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
it wasn't like this. It wasn't, and you know what? This for me. It's been a journey. Like in the last few years, I lost like 130 pounds. I got healthy. I eat a lot. I eat organic. I stopped smoking for like 3 years. I was on this life journey, and plus being an empath as well. And I guess I seemed like I was not awake, and then all of a sudden I'm fully awakened. And I'm just like in awe. I don't know how much more God has to show us. This has to be revelation, so that we're in. And it's not all the brimstone and all the things that they taught us,
Revelation.
It can be like that if we fall away with fear. But I know that you guys have all these chemtrails and all these things are happening in the States, and all these things are happening. But is it quite possible, if you keep yourself at a higher frequency in a different plane, that all I can see that I've been given, I've been blessed with abundance and richness and love and beauty, but is it in my mind, the fear? Like I heard you guys, even Suso was talking about that, and you guys are all talking about stuff like that. I think if we just don't feed into their programming, that so it's quite possible that each one of us are on a different frequency, like a radio station, and if we keep ourselves that way, then none of those things could affect us. And then the more of us awaken up.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's what I'm seeing.
I think we manifest all kinds of things. I think there's it's like I mean, it's like watching Fear Factor or watching.
Once you get over one form of programming, you become susceptible to another kind of programming too, is another thing that I see. It's kind of like a balancing act at a circus. You just have to make sure you're not falling in. You're not programming anybody yourself, and you're not becoming programmed.
Right.
I really think that's where discernment comes in. That's where you have to ask for discernment.
Serious
discernment. There's so much.
And
I think
pray.
It's like the sugar pill experiment.
On people. That's something people forget. That you can pray discernment on others. Let the Holy Spirit flow out on them. Give them eyes to see, open hearts and open eyes. Pray those types of things on people.
It's so weird, like these synchronicities that happen. It's just like if you do take a step back and you listen, you get word. Like, all these things that we discuss and all this fear and all this stuff that we're bombarded by and stuff like that. But if you just step back and get your mind, let your mind fall away, let ego fall away, let all that fall away. And then you could see more clearly,
Yeah, I think sometimes too it's like a placebo thing where they, but it's a reverse thing with fear. They just get you to fear, and then you start to accept it, and it starts to affect your life. And I see your point with that because there's a lot of it being generated everywhere all the time, 24/7.
Yeah.
And it's like it gets to the point where it's like for me, I noticed that early on in 2003. Part of my awakening was the removal of being afraid of what was going on, out there. And it wasn't so much that I wanted to be, people might even almost look at like, wow, that's kind of, why you don't want to know what's going on in the news, what's going on around the world. Why you just want to be unenlightened? No, it became more enlightening to step away from that stuff because I realized what it was doing to me. Like at that point, I realized that like, this is what it does to people. It's like every day you watch your local news and it's like, a few happy stories mixed in with a lot of negativity to fear your neighbor.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I just have friends that are just consumed by CNN and fear and politics. It's just changed them and made them different people, and I just have to just step away because I can't be pulled into that negative type of vibration,
I remember in the 70s as a child, I never locked the doors. Nobody in the neighborhood locked the doors. Everybody's doors were open.
Yes, I was like that as well. Like there was no fear, You just run around with all your friends. You come home when the sun is going down. Okay, be home before the sun gets down. But now it's like,
oh, are you kidding me? Outside before the sun goes down with no cell phones and just running around doing God knows what, and your parents had no idea where you were. And you try that today. Try that with a parent today. They'd lose their minds, man. There was no way that could happen. Everybody's so afraid that something's going to happen. And that's the thing is because why? You've been programmed, you've been told that on the news every night for years that, this is what's going to happen. And you're hit up with this world of Amber Alerts and, this and that. And it's just, now it's going to the point where it's like, well, the next step is to chip yourself, chip your kids. Make sure have a safer world.
That's what that agenda is.
Oh yeah, dude. It's being, and I saw that years ago. I said, what they're gonna do when I saw them chipping dogs? I was like, son of a bee, man. They're gonna chip old people, and then they're gonna chip kids, and then ultimately they're gonna implement this. I mean, this is the stage one of this program. I was like, and now nobody doesn't. Man, if you don't chip your dog now, man, you're considered like a heretic. Like, oh, you didn't put a chip in your dog?
Animal abuse.
Oh yeah, you're an animal abuser and you're horrible. Man, my dogs don't get, I don't want to get too impersonal, but they, Cokie, I get pictures of Cokie, he looks dead. But the point is he's not chipped. Okay. Cokie's he's alive, but he's not chipped, and I don't believe in chipping my dogs.
I'm not chipping your Prince, don't worry.
I don't know if actually you could see it if you put television on, or you put on like a movie channel or channels that you can stream. Every movie has to do something with evil or destruction of man or you're poor or this is just all fear. It's just like bombarded by it, and I think you have to just let all that go. Just let all that fall away. You just have it's true, you have to live in the moment and you have to enjoy the moment, and you just have to resonate with love and positivity, and the more you do that is the more you see love and prosperity,
Yeah, I agree.
I really think, how much more does God have to do? I don't think they have the technology. I think that's another fear. They're taking credit where credit is due to our Father, like Rainbow Mountains and all these animals and all these things, the land masses, the changes, South America. I mean, 2016.
How dare you? How dare you not believe in evolution? How dare you?
It was Rio de Janeiro. I'm sorry, man. Okay, it was not Brazil.
Man, I love this caller. I'm going to tell you right now, this
It
guy,
was-
this guy resonates. Me and him are on the same page.
What's with Zealandia?
Yeah.
Okay, come on, man. And,
Oh, yeah,
and
I
New
know.
Zealand.
Did you guys plan this? Was this planned?
No.
You know, it's funny.
this
I have
guy is
residue for
solid.
This is so weird. This is so weird. I have residue for like spaghetti jar lids. One showing, you know, like Italy, the way that we remember, like kicking, and then another lid of this now that it's like connected practically. It's so weird, man.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Did you hear about the new one with New Zealand now? It's not Auckland as a capital anymore.
It's bizarre.
That's bizarre, dude. It's bizarre. I'm sorry, Australia cannot be king of Canberra. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
your statue of Liberty is saying this like resonated with me. It was crazy.
Oh, dude, there's so
all of
many.
a sudden, the Statue of Liberty all over the world.
All over the world.
It was
double torches now.
It was always
touchdown.
It was always on Ellis Island for me. It was on Liberty Island.
Oh.
That's weird.
Yeah,
look at New York Harbor. Look at New York Harbor. I remember. Literally looking.
The torch never blew up like that. It was never attacked. Like what the? There's only 2 main attacks.
There was never any. There would have been a plaque or something, or somebody talking about the damage that happened during the like between the First World War with the Germans. I mean, give me a break.
I'm your neighbor. You know, I'm from Canada. Japan never flew balloons over BC.
Oh yeah, the balloon bombs. Yeah. When did we ever hear? Never heard of such a thing. Balloon bombs.
High altitude. Or you know what's weird in this? Yeah, and you know what's weird in this timeline in the Civil War?
Yeah.
In American Civil War, they had like ships, battleships with they were using to fire upon each other, and what the hell?
The fire.
Yeah, check that.
What?
Yeah, they had like iron. They had iron boats with like.
You're talking about the Civil War.
In the Civil War.
Oh yeah,
boats. Oh, I thought they had. Well,
they had this weird technology. You know, like they never had that technology back in that day, man. They had freaking cannons and shit, horses and cannons
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have like big iron boats that were like battle ready with guns. Yeah, what the bloody?
Wow. Get out of here! I've never heard of that one. That's a new one for me. I love the history changes, man. Those are great. There's something. Did you know the Indians own slaves now in this reality?
The Ironclads is a type of Civil War battleship.
Yeah. Okay.
What I was talking about. I mean, he's the Ironclad gunboat Baron Krob, the USS Essex, converted Ironclad, sailing at Baton Rouge, like a tank. It's like a steamboat tank.
Okay.
Yes.
I heard about some technology. They always invent during wartime, and maybe it's something I missed. Okay, I'll give it that. But
is it possible that this
the Native Americans never owned slaves in my world, but they own slaves now. Did you know that?
I'm wondering that because everybody is so dumbed down and programmed that slavery and all these things may have always been happening, but we were lied to believe that, we're free and this is not happening. And, it said in Revelation that all these things will come to pass, it's happening.
Well, it says all truths will be revealed. So maybe that's just something that they kept out of my teaching growing up, in the history books. It's very possible because we only know what we were taught in school. And is it possible that, we never learned about it? And I just learned about it lately. And I'm not saying it's Mandela, but it's like, so there's a lot of new history out there that I'm like, and let me just say this, maybe it's not Mandela, but it's definitely an unveiling of new information that I did not know was out there, which is still fantastic because I just, I was a history buff and I looked into stuff. I never saw razzle dazzle ships like Jesse mentioned. Never saw those. I had no idea they painted ships to look really crazy with these wild patterns on them and hide them from German U-boats and things like that. I never saw anything such a thing. And, it's just, looking back, it's just wild. And I'm sure there's more stuff that is coming out all the time regarding history. Our history changes. And the fact that we were bombed more than one time. Now, was it the fact that, those bombings,
or the amount of how many presidents do you remember that were murdered? I only remember 2 American presidents being murdered. And what is it now, like 4 or 5?
It's up there. Yeah, it is a few more. I heard
that's crazy.
Well, it was weird because I remember being told,
I remember Lincoln and Kennedy. That's what I remember.
No,
I don't remember.
I remember there were others.
Other presidents.
The only reason I knew there were others is because I heard about the curse of the presidents. There was an Indian tribe that supposedly put a curse on the presidents, and every 4th president would be murdered or something or killed. And it was supposed to happen again with Reagan or something like that, and it didn't. But the assassination went through, and it was supposed to happen. So let's see, we've had Reagan, and we had Bush Sr. and George Bush. No, we had Clinton and Bush, and then Obama. So I guess I don't know if it's so I guess it would have been Obama. Somebody should have tried this. So I don't know if that curse is still active. I don't know, but that was a theory I heard about this, the curse of the presidents. You can look it up on Google, and I heard about that, and so I assumed that there were more presidents that died because of the curse. Back when I studied this early, when I was younger, that's just the truth. And so I don't know. So I thought there were more than just Kennedy, and but I don't know. Yeah,
I was just aware. I was just aware of assassination wise. I mean, like assassination of presidents. I was just taught about Lincoln and Kennedy, and I wasn't aware there's other assassinations or.
Oh, well, like I said, we didn't really go into that in school. I mean, we were only taught about the major presidents. We didn't really. I mean, we learned their names, right? But we didn't learn if they were killed. We didn't learn. I mean, like I just remember school being like really watered down. Just like basic history. Like, okay, there was this and there's that. It was really boring. I hated history in school. They're like, oh, it so sucks. But after I started researching myself after school, and in college, I was like, oh, this is awesome. I love history. I love learning about, the more of the detailed information that was out there. And that's where I learned more stuff than I learned in, growing up. But it's, like I said, it's one of those things where they probably didn't tell us a lot of stuff. They didn't want to tell us that, certain things happened, and there were certain other, things like, I didn't know. I had no idea that so many. There's a video out there where somebody sent me about the slavery and the Indians and stuff like that. And the reason they had slaves is because that's how they were paid. It's not that Indians wanted slaves; they were given slaves as payment for various things, for land and whatnot. Okay, so that's why that's why they had them. They weren't out there buying them necessarily, but there's a lot of weird history. Like, you find out like, in New Orleans, you found out that 20% of black folks actually owned slaves as well, so there's some history I didn't know until later on. And so unfortunately, this is, it hurts. Some of this history hurts, man. It's tough history.
Some pretty interesting things in chat that I've never heard of.
Oh, yeah? Yeah,
well,
high school.
This is a different place, and they have different history of this timeline, and it is constantly changing.
The image of the new thinker statue changes. I keep.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. Another shocking thing that happened to me too was after this happened, I was watching. I'm a big fan of Adam Sandler, and I was watching a movie that I'd never seen before, even though it was like, not too long ago, and then all of a sudden Louis Anderson was in that movie, and it shocked the hell out of me because he was dead in my eyes.
Yeah.
He had Louis Anderson had that famous it was that famous cartoon that was going against the Simpsons at that time. It was very popular, and they canceled it because he died. And apparently he's lived on in a whole bunch of different things in this timeline or this place.
Dude, the big one for me is almost as bad as
And to
Mandela.
see him was like, I was like, what the hell?
Jerry Lewis, dude. That one is huge.
Yeah. Oh,
That
It seems
one
like he's
blew
died
me
in a couple
away.
months.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's weird,
gosh.
man.
He was in good health and everything. I'm sorry, but dude, he was looking terrible at the end of those telethons.
Yeah, wasn't he doing like weird therapy and he was getting really bloated and he looked really
he looked
sick
horrible. He looked like he was
and
going
he
to
was
die on
trying
stage.
all these different
No, I thought I'd see this man die on stage. He looked terrible. He looked tired. He looked like he was ready to check out of here. And then, like, nobody heard from him for years because he died. He died.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I remember the dude. Yeah, I was like, okay, Jerry Lewis finally passed away. Yeah. And then years went by, and all of a sudden, they're like, somebody said, yeah, Jerry Lewis. Oh, we did an interview with him, and not only that, he's an inventor. He, he did all this stuff. He invented like almost like a teleprompter type thing that he invented for actors. There's all this new information about him. He looked great. He was in great health, and the guy looked like he could live another 10 years. And then all of a sudden, poof, he's gone. He's dead. Just as soon as we found out he was alive. What gives, man? It's the weirdest thing. It seems like that keeps happening. As soon as we find out somebody's still alive, within a year, they're dead again. Isn't that weird? Almost. I mean, I'm not saying every case, but it seems to be happening quite often.
Dan,
I don't know.
Have you heard of snakes giving live birth?
Never.
Laying eggs. I said, which type of snake? And she said, boa constrictors.
I would have always thought that snakes laid eggs. Absolutely. I never heard of that before until now. Now, does that mean I'm right? No, absolutely not. I'm not saying I am, but I'm telling you, never in my life have I heard of a snake that gave live birth to other snakes. I'm sorry.
I just got the image.
That's almost like a mammal, isn't it? Is that snake classified as a mammal now?
That's weird.
It is weird. They always had eggs.
Well, yeah. It's like that whale with the unicorn horn. What's that whale called again?
The narwhal. The narwhal.
Yeah, when I was a child, when I was in elementary school, and they were teaching us about like dinosaurs and extinct animals millions of years ago, they showed me like a narwhal horned whale, and now they're alive. It's just like the cocoa bird, the bird.
Like the coelacanth.
And it's really weird. Like my cousin, he's like, we've always had those whales, and that's what's based on part of the Scottish heritage on those horns. And he's telling me this big thing, and there's like a song, and I'm like, what? It was shocking when I saw that. I was shocked.
I actually dined on some narwhal. I hate to admit it. It was delicious. I'm kidding. I'm just joking. That's not true. I'm confabulating right now. I know people in the chat are like, mouths open, right? Like, oh, did he just dined on narwhal? I'm kidding. It's all good. No, the narwhal is definitely. I mean, dude, I'm sorry. Wouldn't Jacques Cousteau have done an episode with narwhals? Don't you think? Don't you?
I do prehistoric reports, colored narwhal whales with horns that were millions of years ago that were extinct, and then you're in this weird place, and then you see them on National Geographic, and they're alive.
Here's the theory I have, and this is just a weird theory.
What?
I have a theory. That maybe, okay, so if we shifted from an Earth that was on the outer edge, and we're now in an Earth that's say 2/3 of the way in from the Milky Way, everything is moving outward. So is it possible that we shifted to an Earth that just had a different timeline? It wasn't as old? Because it seems to me, like when I look at the animals and when I look at the land masses and everything shifting backward, it literally looks like time itself is like if you reverse time. Remember they talked about Pangea where everything was hooked together. It literally looks like the land masses are kind of moving back into one large mass, or at least, you know, they're in that position as if they were. Then you've got the narwhal, you got the coelacanth, which, by the way, millions of years was extinct. Now all of a sudden, oh, well, we found one in Japan. Huh, gosh, I guess we're wrong. Oh, all this time we thought these were going to extinct, but they're not. And these butterflies. Did you see the butterflies? They're got a wingspan, like they look like something out of Avatar. Have you seen those things? Yeah, they got butterflies with a wingspan like 16 inches, man. The things are like incredible, dude. I'm sorry. When I was younger, when I was a boy, I was running around and I loved like butterflies and moths and stuff like that. I thought those were so cool. I wanted to capture them and look at them and hold them, you know, that kind of thing. I think I think I would have, you know, come across some books. My mom, you know, she'd give me these insect books and I would look at insects from all over the world. I never remember seeing these insects we got today. I never remember.
Yeah, alien. They're like alien.
I'm telling you, brother, it almost seems to me that we're seeing insects in animal life of an Earth, of a younger Earth. Like something that, you know, in one Earth they may have extincted themselves, but on this particular Earth, they're still here. That's what it looks like to me. Now, do I have any proof of this? No. I'm just going by, this is Dan's theory, but that's what I feel like. I feel like we're seeing, when we look at the land masses and we see the shifting, we see an Earth that's a younger Earth. And that's why we have so many different critters now.
That's amazing.
I think ancient civilizations knew that at this point our paradigm will be different and change, and they left us evidence and residue to tell us that we're going to be in this time. You know, I don't know if we're de-evolving. I think, you know, that it's possible that the Earth is, you know, how we're resonating now at a higher frequency.
Well, if you look at the animals, if you look at some of the animals,
maybe the Earth is, maybe this is the new Earth, the new Eden, or maybe maybe we're awakening. Our thought is, the massive consciousness of thought is making this more beautiful. Of course, with the Creator.
Maybe God is into a new Garden of Eden. Maybe this is just we're in a transitionary period right now, and God is literally reshaping and remaking the Earth into a new Garden of Eden. Maybe that's what we're seeing right now. It looks like
that's
that.
What I
look
think
at the animal kingdom.
I think so. He's like, he is the Creator. He's like, hey.
Yeah, I don't think that you're doing. Okay. I wish I had that power. I don't necessarily think.
I don't think, sir. I don't think those satanic worshipers have that power. You know, he may. You know, I mean, human beings themselves, even if they were given technology. You know, there's some theories that fallen angels may have given them technology and stuff like that. I think that's a fear factor.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
I think if we resonate and we all come together, all that evil, all that stuff will fall away, and we will continue to evolve spiritually to this place. It's constantly, because
I think it's growing pains. It's the birthing pains of what we have to deal with.
We're the babies. You know, we're just starting out.
Yeah, we are.
I think we're leading the way. We're leading the way.
Yeah, I like that.
Every day, people are waking up, and you know, this community is you know, I think each one of us is. You, Scarab, you're here because you are you. I am here because I'm me, and everyone that can see, they're all here because of themselves to help. I think we're all souls. I think it's possible we're light workers, and we volunteer to be here. I have all these visions and all these things. There's also this awakening, and I'm constantly growing and learning.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we're all doing, brother. And I think you're right when you say don't take you know, let that stuff fall away, all the ego and all the stuff that you mentioned. I think that's good.
Remember I said earlier the problem that you're having right now, Well, what's happening? It's an agenda that they're pushing, divide and conquer. It's an old agenda, and we're fooled by it. And if we're spirit and we have souls, they're they put man against woman, the gender.
And aren't they doing that?
But
yeah,
they're doing that. But are we really like that?
No,
I don't think.
But that's the thing. I don't think any of us really. None of us really care. It's just they just do it to stress people out.
But you know what I've noticed? No, I really see this like through my friends that are from this. Okay, I'm going to say these people that they're like from this timeline, and they're so consumed by all this programming. It's hard enough that all these bad things happen in the world, but if we let all that fall away, all that division, they're scared. They're scared that will happen. That's why they're pushing all this stuff around the world. The separation. Because if we're awakening and we join together and the mass of us,
and this will bring us
unity
together.
And love. This will bring us together.
And
they want to
bring us together. It will, because
they can't manifest their world unless they use us.
I don't care about transgender issues. I don't care about all that other crap. It doesn't bother me. You know why? Because I got bigger fish to fry right here, and we can all agree.
If you take all of us out of our bodies, what are we?
Right, we're a soul.
All of us. We're a soul, we're spirit, and we're all connected from the Creator. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
So that's how you have to look at things, and all that stuff is this. They can't manifest their world. There's a small amount of them, and we're awakening. They can't stop it.
And
if a person like me can awaken and see through their lies, just a small. I remember you guys were discussing this a few shows before, worrying about there's not enough of us. But if you light one candle in a dark room, what does that do? It illuminates the entire room. So if we keep lighting up,
that's true.
There's just no way.
Well, we just feel like sometimes we're spinning our wheels, when you're into stuff and you just, they're just those days. That's all. Someday some broadcasts are high energy.
We're homesick.
Hell yeah, we're homesick.
Right?
Yeah, of course we are.
Okay, everything we're taught was not malleable. Everything that we're taught was not true. But it's much greater than that. We have to give gratitude, and I think we have to be thankful to the Creator that we can see what He's allowing us to see, because there's so many people that are just, like you said, they can't awaken. They get some sort of download, they see for a second, and then they decide to take the blue pill or something. They just want to life with, for all energy and everything's vibrating. What's the importance of money and all these things? And I think if you be thankful for what you have, and then the more you will receive.
Yeah, well, and I think that, sometimes going back and looking at what I used to pray for and what I used to talk to God about and say, okay, well, be careful what you pray for, because I used to say this to him all the time. I used to be like, God, so I could feel something big was coming. I felt like something big was on the horizon, and I told God, I said, listen, I don't know what you got in store, brother, but whatever it is, I want to know. I don't want to, I don't want to be blindsided by it. And there are days, and I jokingly say this, that, man, I wish I was blindsided.
Wow.
Sometimes, just because some of the changes are so profound to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I deal with this?
Well, guys, listen.
Remember, Dan?
This is
Dan, remember
the time. I'm gonna have to cut you off. I'm gonna have to do it, guys. I'm sorry. This is a great conversation, but I got to kill this night.
Gotta go, brother. Okay.
It's just, don't you think this is
we're good, man.
I mean, I don't know. I this is where I need photo.
You wanted to start this thing at 2:00 in the morning, so I don't know. You tell
Not
me.
at that. I'll go until 5. But this is to me, it's only going to be max a 3-hour show. I love the conversation that's going on right now. I do not want to stop it. I love Michael. Michael, I'm going to tell you, Mike, this is the kind of conversation I'm looking for on this show. This is what I'm looking for.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for having me here and allowing me to share. And
Chat room.
I know.
you know what? I really think that you remember, Dan, before you go, you were saying how you know, things were changing as you were thinking about it or saying about it.
Yes.
I think in these times we have to be careful what we say or speak. We have to think about
Very
it.
important. Yes. Be careful about what you say.
I think that we have
careful. We have to be careful how we even, like, you know, what we think about sometimes.
I think we need to be the best, think of the best possibility and be the best person we can be.
Good point. Yeah.
Amen. Didn't think I'd say that in a long time.
Amen. Give thanks and praise.
You were going to
Thank
say
you,
something?
man. Hey, good talking to you, bro. Hey, maybe I'll see you on my show sometime. All right, man. But dude, yeah, let's wrap it up for these guys. And man, it's been great talking to you. And thanks, man. Awesome call.
Yeah, it was a great call.
Thank you very much. Thanks, you guys.
All right, brother. Take care.
Have a good night, Michael.
Good night.
All right, man. God bless, bro.
Good night.
God bless.
Love yous all. Everybody, just, you know, hang in there. This is great. I loved what went on tonight. It's exactly what I wanted.
I took a nap earlier, so I'm good. I was like ready.
Well,
I came in all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
I went to eat, went to take a nap, and realized, oh no, I got to get on.
Oh, yeah.
Now I am going to do this later next week. I know.
Chat room, man. Y'all are terrible. See, Paul and myself and you and everybody expects us to be up all night now. See?
Well, see, that's why I planned on doing this late at night, because I know a lot of these folks are up late. I love the idea of taking calls. I didn't want to, my initial plan wasn't to take calls all night, but I have no problem with that. I'm willing to leave it just open and just, I think it was great. I'm going to have to get Photo in here to cut people off though.
Yeah. Well, nobleness. I woke up at midnight, right? Yeah.
Woke up at midnight.
It's been a great show, and I got to listen to a few calls, and I'm glad. And I just, yeah, man, it was, you know, it is what it is. It was great, and I appreciate you guys inviting me. Yeah,
sure. I'm hoping I get over to your show Saturday, but it's been picking up out here. It's busy.
Oh, that's boy.
It's the whole reason of me doing this is so I can bring some more people together and get some people out there that need to talk about it, get on here and talk about it, and, you know, try and find like special guests to come on each week and not announce it. So you might just be on every week, Dan.
Oh, great. What days are you going to do it?
I'm kidding. I don't know. Right now, I'm going to stick with next week.
Tuesday? You doing Tuesday nights?
Yeah, but it'll be Wednesday morning by the time I crank it up.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. What's that?
Nobody say anything.
No.
Nope.
Jess, are you around?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Any last words?
Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in, man. And for your what do you call this? Your not first annual, your first live stream. Congratulations, man.
If you think about it, there's really never first annual anything. It would have to be second.
Yeah.
Minimum.
That's kind of what I was getting. First annual.
Anything else? I mean, yeah, thank you everybody for coming in. I don't have Ron in the room, so I wasn't gonna, you know.
I'm glad you found a jacket.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Where were you at?
I was researching some things there, buddy.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't just watching your mug on camera. I'm sorry.
And thank you. I appreciate that.
I can only, dude, I'm OCD. I can only stare at so much clutter for.
Love that OCD thing. You should see my room.
I want to take that OxyClean and go to town.
I want to keep up the tradition of thanking the first caller. The first call is always the most difficult. And as you see, it accelerates and it just gets easier and easier as the show goes on. You see that, Suso? You see how that happens? At the very beginning, you're like, is anybody going to call in? And then it takes care of itself.
And I wasn't cold. I was nervous. And then later on, I became cold.
Oh. Oh man, I'm glad your windows are sealed. I'm glad your house has insulation.
Yeah, I
I'm
gotta
glad.
get this heater on. My cats are
Thank you guys so
outside.
much for having me, and good night for me personally, Dan. Good night,
Hey, good night,
Anthony.
Jesse.
God bless. Thanks,
Bro.
guys.
Take care, bro.
Good night, Dan. Good night, Jess. Good night, everybody in the chat room. And I don't know what time I'm going to do it. I'll have to get Scarab to announce it on his show Saturday. What time I'm going to do it, because I think probably 1:12 Mountain Time. That was the idea. I'm going to be up then. Today I was off all day running around. I got up early, bought all kinds of stuff for this thing, and I'm exhausted. Later on next week,
These people are still ready to
I'll
go
be up.
somewhere and chat. That's so
They're
funny.
begging you to go live or what?
Hey, oh, they want somebody. They're like trying to convince Salted Cedar now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, hey, Salty. Put that
I'm
chin.
calling. I threw him a hammer too.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
So all right, I guess that's it, guys. Call it a night. Where is you in the chat at all, Dan?
Yeah, I'm watching it.
No, I know you're watching it. Chat something. I don't know how to do this.
What do you mean?
If just say hi in the chat.
Well, you go to the bottom where it says say something.
Yeah. Well,
Click in there and type.
I wanted you to do it.
Oh, what do you want me to say? Well, they're
care.
listening to you right now. You don't have to say anything. What do you want me to type? You want to put a link in there or something? What do you want me to do? I don't have a wrench, so I can't link it.
That's what I was trying to do. I'm trying to give you a wrench. I don't know how to do that.
Oh, well, you didn't tell me that. Golly, man, come on, dude. Throw me a bone or a wrench or something. Oh, hey, there you go. There I am.
All right. Good night, guys. I'm literally fading out.
Okay, Jess, take care, bro.
Jess, thanks a lot for everything, man. This afternoon and the phones, everything. I really appreciate it. That's awesome.
That's weird. The phone Doppel is still here. Jesse left, but his phones are still here. How weird. Let's see.
Are they? Possible. All right, I'm saying good night.
All right, man. All right, have a good night. Oh, I got the wrench.
Thanks for helping me out this afternoon, buddy. This is we got the first one off my belt. Now next week, slide into the next day.
Yeah, it gets easier from there, buddy. Okay,
I'm going to try and do like a 2, 3, 4 in the morning show. I mean, that's the idea. I'm glad I did it now because everybody sees I'm here and I'm doing it. So.
Okay, man. Well, dude, no, just hit me up. We'll talk some more tomorrow. I'm sure. We'll get it worked out.
Absolutely.
All right, bro.
All right, Danny. Good night.
Have a good night, man.